Alright, welcome in everyone. I hope you are all having a good day so far. And hopefully the mic sounds okay. This is my first stream with my new mic, so hopefully it sounds okay. Hopefully it also sounds better than my old mic, but I don't know if it actually sounds that much better. We'll see. Oh, bother. I changed mics, so now my model's not tracking. One moment. Man, I thought I got rid of all the I thought I got all the stuff out of my system yesterday, but no. One moment while I figure out how to do this. Let's try that. Is that working? There we go. It's at least sort of working. Yeah, okay. Good enough for now, at least. Anyways, let me close that. I'll bring that back up. There we go. So yeah, first stream with my new mic. I think I like it. Anyways, let's just get into the game because I am so excited. I love this game oh so much. Okay, so we are right at the start of the moments for step 3. So it's somewhere after high school. And yeah, let's just jump in. Oh, I just realized my mic's kind of buzzing. Oh well, I'll deal with it later. Yes, okay, focus. You grabbed the large beach towel from off your bed and stuffed it into a bag. You had already packed your water bottle for your upcoming beach hangout session. Beach hangout session. The stars had aligned and somehow everyone was free today. Miranda had set things up with wow. Let's see if I can read. Miranda had set things up with several bubbly phone calls between you, Cove, and Terry to find a time to hit the beach. You were hoping that this would be a fun time together. Cove sat on your windowsill and kicked one of his legs into the air idly. He already had his swimsuit on and his towel was bundled under his arm in a misshapen ball. He'd shown up earlier that morning with a surprising amount of enthusiasm. He was chatting as you caught up to his preparation. But seriously, I couldn't find my swimsuit this morning. I looked everywhere. It had disappeared. I had no idea what I was gonna do. We gotta say what happened to all your others, because surely he has more than one. I know that's not your only one. Cove looked away and shrugged. I might have some laundry to do. Anyways, I don't know why it was in the bathroom when I never put it there. He gave a small smile and readjusted the towel in his arms. You now could see that it had been folded at some point, but then rolled up and carried without much care.
I'm so glad.
But I'm just glad I found it. It would have been crappy to lose my favorite trunks. It was nice to see Cove so happy and comfortable in what he was wearing. You walked over to your dresser and mused about how you had picked out your own swimsuit. Your height got blah. Hey Darby King, welcome in, how you doing? Your height had complicated shopping a little. Not all suits were made to properly fit people like you, and then for the shape of your body. We'll go you are slender. slender and yeah, doing pretty good. A little bit of scuff this morning with my new microphone, but besides that, I'm doing good. And now I'm just being indecisive. Which one do we want? Let's do... I don't know, for some reason I like delicate, but I'm not quite sure what that means. Sure, we'll go with delicate. A little bit of scuff with my new microphone. I think it's sounding okay now, but I had to fiddle with settings earlier. There was a fragility to your build. You had to be careful with it. Okay, maybe that wasn't quite what I wanted, but that's fine. You kept mostly the same shape you'd had throughout your teenage years. You were used to your body, and your body was used to your habits.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about some things. What things? Just myself and my body, really. His eyebrow rose at your admission of self-reflection. And what do you think? What did you think of who you were? You considered your identity further. We'll go with you had always felt sure about your gender. Being called him was right for you, and you had a naturally flat chest. You let people that can only raise one eyebrow? Yeah, it's a useful look. I think I can, I don't know. I think I can only raise my right one. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't tried recently. Yeah, that's the way you want it to be. Once again, I love all the options in this game. It's so good. Okay. People had a lot of their identity wrapped up in their physical form. It shaped their self-image. We'll go with you are comfortable in yours. Yeah. What's the game about? Basically, it's about... how do I explain this? Basically, it's about falling in love with the boy next door. That's the shortest, quickest way to say it. So basically, Cove moves in across the street when you're both 8, and then each stage of the game is spending a summer with him and going on adventures and falling in love and all that fun stuff. So we're now on the 3rd summer, so it's the summer after graduating high school. So they're 18 now. Let's see. Your body was you, and it was a good one that you felt content in. You have pretty much always felt good in your body. It was that way through your main growing years, and now that you were an adult, you didn't see that changing anytime soon. You focused on Cove again. He smiled at you and tilted his head, a question still in his eyes. He was waiting for you to come to an answer, but before you could, you had something else to say to him. What do you think about me? Or you like the way I look? My brain's not awake enough for all these choices. Which I, should have thought through being... I knew I was playing this game. Anyways. We'll ask what he thinks. What do you think about me? About how I look, I mean. Cove smirked a little, his eyes taking you in easily. Fishing for compliments. You look great. Everyone knows that, including you, by the way. Unless that's changed. Hey, Jury, welcome in. How you doing? And yes, I'm winning. I mean, I just started. I'm not fully awake yet, but besides that, I am winning. Random fact cost 1 million? Probably. Because... yeah, I don't actually even know what the Stream Elements store is like anymore. I said it so long ago and no one uses it. I must be an interesting person. I mean, I like to think I'm interesting. I don't know if I actually am. Okay, how do we respond? We're gonna... I don't know, I guess we're gonna pout. Because that one, I don't know, it almost feels too defensive. We're just gonna pout. You stuck out your bottom lip and whined. It wasn't fair for him to say such things. Cove shook his head. His hand went up to try to unsubtly cover his smile. I was kind of worried you were so in your own head because something was wrong. Guess not. I'm glad.
Hey!
Cove gave a bent smile, pointing at your arms. You're looking particularly shapely today. He answered not with words, but a solid okay sign with both hands and the same cheeky smile. Cove suddenly flushed when he realized how boldly he complimented you. He stood by it, even if he was a little red. That was cute. You were a little taken aback. That came out of nowhere. You glanced at yourself. You like that? Yeah. Oh man, there are so many good options. I think we're gonna flirtatiously stretch. Yeah. You fluttered your eyelashes and slowly stretched your arms out in front of you, towards him. Your sleeve fell down, but instead of fixing it, you let it stay that way. You looked Cove straight in the eyes as you openly displayed your arms. He cracked a huge smile. This is too much for me to witness. Cove hopped up from his seat and fluttered his hands in front of you, gesturing for the display to stop, laughing the whole time. That's so cute. You thought on some level he might not have been fully kidding around with that. He was flustered. You gave the poor guy a break and put the goods back down. He exaggeratedly wiped his brow and let himself fall back into place on the windowsill. Finally, you felt that was enough of that topic for one day. You went back to your original goal before you got sidetracked. You needed to pick what you want to wear to the beach. Ooh, what do we want to wear? I mean, wetsuit might be overkill, but I do like a good wetsuit. Or, nah, we're gonna wear a wetsuit. I like the wetsuits. While you dug around in your drawers, you tried to think if there was anything else you were missing. Do I want board shorts with our wetsuit? Yeah, we'll have board shorts. Why not? With that taken care of, you held your outfit together and looked to Cove. He was tapping his toes on the side of the wall as he waited. You vaguely wondered if he thought that was a comfortable place to sit. You hoped so, given how long he'd perched on it. Regardless, it was time for him to go. You weren't going to put on your beachwear with him just chilling there. One year, 1 month, 30-day anniversary day you met your favorite only Stream Elements gambler. That is impressive. That's quite a long time. Thank you for sticking around so long. I need to change. Cove smiled, content with being kicked out. Alright. Cove lowered himself off the window and strolled past you to get to the door. He lightly brushed his fingers against your cheek when he passed by. Aww.
Bye.
I'll see you out front. Okay. When you were alone, you got undressed and put your swimwear on. You also checked your beach bag for the final time, and it seemed like you hadn't forgotten anything. You left your room and hurried down the stairs, ready to meet Cove. You made sure to lock your front door and walked outside. Cove stood in the road, looking down and scuffing his feet on the asphalt. When you shut your heavy door, he looked up at you and smiled. Hey. Hi. Miranda and Terry are gonna be here in not too long. Terry even texted me earlier saying she was mostly on schedule.
Well,
why don't we just head to the beach and wait for them there? We're both ready. That sounded like a good idea to you. You said as much, and Cove shot off a quick text telling the two of them where you'd be. Cove gave you a thumbs up after the message sent. It was a familiar path to walk, and it wasn't long until you reached the shore. Yay, a beach! I need to go to the beach soon. Ugh, it's been so long, and I'm almost out of coffee, and I always get the good coffee at the beach. Maybe sometime in the next couple months I can make a beach trip. Okay. Cove laid out his towel on the warm sand. You set your stuff beside him and looked out into the ocean. The rolling swells hit the shore rhythmically. You all had lucked out. It was a beautiful day. The sky was clear and the waves were good. It was a balmy summer day, but with a pleasant breeze to keep things comfortable. Essentially, it was perfect.
So?
Do you feel like heading into the water? Maybe just walk down the shore? Or do you want to do something here? Probably the water. Maybe a stroll. Stroll with your feet in the water. That seems like a good place to start. You wiggled your toes in response to the comment and looked off into the shoreline. Alright, good luck with your moderating. Oh, you want a random fact first. Okay. Fact about me. Let's see. Random fact. I feel like I thought I'd go one before, but I now can't remember what it was. Okay, random fact is... I'm trying to think of one I haven't said before. Okay, I might have said this one, but random fact is that sometimes when I write things, especially if it's like fiction or poetry, I sometimes start writing so fast that I kind of like make up letters and remove letters and then can't read my own handwriting when I go back. So yeah, there we go. Random fact is I sometimes write faster than my hand can write, and then I hate myself later. You do that too? Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably something quite a few people do, but I don't know. I find it kind of amusing when I look back and like, I wrote just like write so fast. It's like all the letters are like mushed together and they're missing. But because you have, oh, IRLs? Yeah, that's true. There are people who do that for other reasons. My reason is just my brain moves faster than my hand does. And or my hand just doesn't feel like actually writing letters. Because it does that sometimes too. When like I'm not writing fast, letters just kind of disappear because I don't feel like writing them. You have a genetic weakness in writing and reading? Yeah. Yes, that would make it even more difficult. I don't have that. I'm just too lazy and or I think faster than my hand can move. It also doesn't help that I have like really small handwriting and I use really fine tipped pens. So then even when I'm writing, like even when I'm writing nicely in that context, sometimes the letters will kind of merge together. So then when I start going fast, it gets even worse. And then, yeah, it's sometimes a game to see if I can read my own handwriting when I go to type up what I hand wrote. Okay, I read that. Cove nodded, accepting of the plan. He kicked some sand off his towel absentmindedly. Yeah, sounds nice. Alright, thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a good rest of your day. You took a deep breath and tasted the relaxing, salty air. Cove caught your eye and gave you a small smile. You chatted a little before a comfortable quiet settled over the two of you, content to watch the waves as you waited for the others. Luckily, it didn't take long until you heard shouts. You turned your head to see both Miranda and Terry running straight for you. Miranda was faster, making leaps and bounds across the sand. Terry followed her in a walk, laughing with her towel clutched around her shoulders and flowing like a cape. Miranda started making her jumps more theatric and more precarious as she got closer. Cove waved them on with a bright grin. You hoped they wouldn't fall. We're gonna laugh. You laughed. They always found a way to make such a memorable entrance. Oh good, I'm not the only one in a wetsuit. Nice, we have a nice balance. And That is quite the swimsuit pattern. Very colorful. The two officially arrived at Cove's and yours setup, looking completely ready for an ocean adventure. They're already in their swimwear and were raring to go. Hi Terry, Miranda, welcome to our beach.
Hey!
Hello, hello. She beamed and Miranda nodded with a smile.
Oh yeah!
Man, I am so pumped. Yeah, I'm really glad this worked out. What have you guys been up to over here in your town? Cove? June? Have we missed things? Cove blinked and then shrugged when nothing he wanted to mention came to mind. We're just gonna shrug, why not? Terry tilted her head. She then turned on Miranda with a grin. Hey there, Joyce, welcome in, how you doing? Then what about you? Anything you can say, Randy? Miranda looked back and forth between you and Cove.
Damn.
What? Oh, thank you so much for the resub. 14 months. That is impressive. Thank you for sticking around for so long. Wow, that is a long time. 14 months. My goodness. Okay. Miranda looked back and forth between you and Cove, then with a small, evil smirk, she too shrugged. Aw, come on, someone's gotta answer. Miranda burst out giggling and Cove snorted. Terry then started talking about her morning and how she'd almost overslept since she had stayed up too late last night. She bounced on her feet as she spoke. But don't worry about But don't worry about me being tired today. You know I ran on less back during school. Miranda filled in the group about her morning. Apparently everything had gone smoothly. She'd met up with Terry on the way here and you knew the rest. Cove offered a suggestion to the girls. Hey, let's walk while we catch up.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. You felt pleased that Cove remembered what you wanted to do. Sometimes he could be thoughtful like that. Once everyone's stuff was settled on the beach, the group strolled over to the shoreline. The wet sand was cool under your feet. Oh, that sounds so nice right now. It's been so hot here the last few days too. A wave rushed up and covered your ankles in water. You flinched from the suddenness of it, but by the next wave you were acclimated. You took another step forward and sank a little into the ground. Behind you, your footprints were soon smoothed by the waves. Your friends chatted as you all walked together. You took turns pointing out cool shells or pieces of sea glass. It was a relaxing jaunt. Jaunt's a fun word. It's not used enough. It's a fun word, though. Hours passed and the group had moved between different activities. Some low-key, some more exhaustive. For you, it was another break time. You sat on your towel and sipped at some water. Your friends were hard at work burying Terry's full body under a pile. Miranda used her arms to force up sand around Terry's sides. Cove worked on covering Terry's feet. You took another drink and closed your eyes. Eventually, a shadow passed over you, dampening the light that was still notable even behind your eyelids. You checked to see why can't I read? You checked to see Cove had joined you there. He knelt down to dig around the pile of assorted beach stuffs in the middle of everyone's towel setup and pulled out the sunscreen. He took a seat next to you on his towel. He opened the bottle with a soft pop and began to reapply the cream. Hey. He ran his hands across his chest to work the sunscreen in, and you might have checked him out a little from the corner of your eye, while still sipping some water. Oh, those are both good options. I mean, really, you should do both of these. You should enjoy the view, and then once he's done, you offer to get his back. Well, ask if you want me to get you back. Oh, I like that. Okay, I'll do it. Thanks. You scooted up behind your boyfriend and reached a hand around his front so he could squeeze a small pile of sunscreen onto your hand. You rubbed your palms together, spreading the cream out more evenly, then began applying it softly to his shoulder blades. From there, you moved to the top of his shoulders, the nape of his neck, and down his spine. Cove was mumbling the entire time, but you couldn't make out what he said. He might not have even realized he was doing it himself. The tone of his voice and the look on his face got the message across just fine, however. He was happy. You were too. Aw, it's so cute. After he and you finished up, Cove let out a comfortable sigh and looked off into the distance. But then he sighed again, this time in an exaggeratedly disappointed way. You wondered if he was going to sigh again, even more dramatically, if you didn't say anything. Oh, I do like that one. Oh, Cove, whatever it is, I'm sure it's gonna be okay, you joked. Let's do, you raised an eyebrow. You raised a questioning eyebrow. You made it half as dramatic as Cove's expression, and he had to stifle a smirk. Cove shook his head, comedically despondent. His frown didn't match the sparkle in his eyes.
Don't worry about it.
I'm just becoming another jaded adult, that's all. Now you're really confused. You waited for him to continue, and his next sigh did not disappoint. It was the most ridiculously sad sigh you had ever heard. Then he smiled a little. Mermaids aren't real? Where's this conversation going? Okay. This is not where I expected this to go, but that's fine. What? That had not been what you were expecting, he continued. You know how much I liked mermaids as a kid? Well, merfolk as a whole. Wow. No, mermaids are real. Exactly. Well, merfolk as a whole. I really hoped that they were out there.
I mean,
the ocean's a big place, right? They could be somewhere. But the older I got, the more I had to accept it. They are just fairy tales. He jerked his head over to the waterline and the rolling waves. They crashed against the shore and then drew back. This is a perfect beach for them. It's pretty, vast, and never too crowded. If merfolk did exist, we definitely would have met one by now. Or at least we would have heard of someone else seeing one, but nothing. He acted as though that result was a true bafflement. He let his head hang. I gotta let the dream go. We're just gonna burst into laughter because this is quite an amusing little conversation. That was hilarious. Cove chuckled a little to himself, eyes tilted off to the sea, his face still low. Maybe it's for the best. Let's say a merperson did happen to wash up on shore one day. He looked at you with a doubtful expression. I could have lost my boyfriend to the magical underwater world. I don't know, do we go full on teasing? Or sure, we'll do it. Oh yeah, I totally go live under the sea with the merfolk. Curve smirked triumphantly. I knew it, but I can't blame you. It is a beautiful. Bleh. Let's see if I can read. If a beautiful, kind, more person fell for somebody, I'm pretty. But I can't read. Let's try this again. Okay. If a beautiful, kind, why do I struggle with that word? Mer person falls for somebody, I'm pretty positive that the sensible response isn't to turn around and say, no thanks, I'm gonna stay on land with a normal guy. Well, that's a good one. Since this is all hypothetical, why not have you be the mer person? Oh, that's a cute one too. I don't want that. I should get to be the mer creature, and then I'd invite you to the underwater world. Or it could go really sappy or romantic and good. There's no one who could ever make me leave you. We'll do this one since it's all hypothetical. Why not have you be the mer person? Cove turned his face to beam at you. He brightened immediately. Yay! Look at that cute smile. Now we're talking. I'd be a good merman, right? Oh yeah, you'd be a perfect merman, Cove. I could see it. Cove gaze was drawn back to the water with shining eyes. He was clearly imagining some world where he was a merman who happened upon you here at this beach. He tried to picture what he could be thinking. It would be quite a lovely story. And then you heard Miranda screech. Your attention immediately switched over to your friends. You saw that Terry had gotten impatient and shifted her legs. The walls Miranda had been meticulously building collapsed into a wet heap of sand. She surveyed the damage critically. We're gonna have to start over on that part. Do you just want to give up on this now?
No way.
The burial must continue. I will try not to move anymore. Okay, if you're sure, I'll try to fix this. Miranda started to rebury her, and Terry shot her a thumbs up. She realized too late that moving her arm was a bad idea. More of the sand on her crumbled, and Miranda put her head in her hands. Cove caught your eye and started to drag himself up. Seems like we're needed. You agreed and followed him over to the girls. Miranda nodded at you both with appreciation, and the three of you did your best to finish the job. You all worked out a system of using just enough wet sand to help pull the rest together. With 3 people, it didn't take long for Terry to be entombed. Terry grinned massively, and Miranda offered high fives. The pile was officially done. Oh yeah! Resembling the Kool-Aid man, she kicked herself out of the ground with a gusto. Sand went flying in all directions, and a Terry-shaped imprint was left behind. Miranda yelled again, and Cove chuckled. There probably wasn't a better way to get out of it. The 4 of you continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Let's try that again. The 4 of you continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Miranda managed to find the biggest, while you found the most colorful. Cove caught a tiny crab. You did a bit of everything. There were impromptu games to... Wow, I can't read. There were impromptu games to just soaking up each other's company. However, after a while, you all had run out of water. Drinkable water, anyway. It was decided that you'd head to your Cove's house. Things were gathered, and you started to cheerfully walk up the road. What next? I don't have anywhere to go, so it could be wherever, or it could be whatever. Same. I guess we can keep hanging out? Terry snorted and readjusted her grip on her things. Don't sound too sure there, Cove. By this point, you could see your house. It hadn't taken you long to make the trip. The conversation continued with everyone throwing out suggestions. Are people hungry? She looked from face to face in inspection. Cove and Miranda shrugged in concert. No one was overly opposed to it. However, you weren't really starving, and it wasn't quite a mealtime. We could get dessert? Miranda put a finger to her lip and thought. With a smile, her voice became more confident. Yeah, that'd be fun. Terry considered it and then shot Miranda a thumbs up.
Sure.
Sounds great to me. I could definitely go for that. I think that's a good idea. But there's nothing sweet at my house. Your friends glanced at Cove and his place. He shook his head immediately. That doesn't have anything good either. I mean, unless you want dessert-flavored protein shakes. Ew, no. She cut in and held her hands up as if trying to ward off something evil. Cove smirked. I mean, that's fair. Protein shakes, some of them taste okay. Some of them taste nasty.
Not bad.
It's not that bad.
Nope.
Well, there has to be some kind of sweet shop around here. Let's look it up. Terry nodded and started to dig around in her bag. I like the way you think. Terry continued to rummage in her bag and grew increasingly frustrated. She puffed out her cheeks and knelt down, setting the bag on the ground. With both hands free, she was finally able to fish out her phone. She raised it up in triumph for a brief moment of celebration.
I'm on it.
I'll search for something good. Terry got back to her feet, hefting the bag over one arm, tapping away at her screen in the other. But she assessed Cove from top to bottom. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Cove glanced down his bare chest and feet, having not even registered it prior. He chuckled a little. I'll grab something. Cove moved over to his house. You looked towards yours. I'll just wait outside. You watched Cove disappear into his house. Terry was deep in the midst of scrolling through food options. You shuffled over to where you could see, and Miranda did the same. There's ice cream. People love ice cream, especially around here. I don't really feel like ice cream. Cool, because I don't either. She flicked her finger up and another ice cream place showed up. Melty Moo Moo's frozen treats with an unfortunate cartoon mascot. I like ice cream, it's just not for today. There has to be something else. You thought on it and Terry kept scrolling. You heard a door open and Cove reappeared. Oh, it's a cute shirt. I like it. I like the colors. It kind of matches my keyboard lights, because I may or may not have made a whole keyboard light scheme just for this game, because I got a new keyboard yesterday, and now I can control the lights. So now it's like a fade of blue and green. Like blue and sea green. You're about to be surprised by how quick he was, but then noticed he'd just thrown a t-shirt over his swim trunks and slipped on a pair of sandals. Of course. I mean, that's really all he needed. Everyone else exchanged their respective greetings and then looked back at Terry's phone. Terry scrolled further and then made an interested exclamation. Ooh, what about this place? They sell crepes. Oh, crepes are good. That's something you don't see every day. Look how fancy they are. Are we and Cove gonna share a crepe? That's gonna be adorable. She shoved her phone into your face. It seemed like a cute shop. It didn't show any pictures of the actual building, but the food seemed good. It was one of those places that put a lot of effort into presentation, with branded wrapping for the crepes as wow, with branded wrapping for the crepes and well applied toppings.
Huh.
Weird. I've never heard of it. I haven't either. Mysterious. But crepes are so good. She nodded her approval as Terry admired more of the photos. I'd go if it's not too far, but we could drive. Terry cheered at the success of a plan made, and you all walked around to Cove's car. He had to run inside once more to grab his keys. You road wash me in the dirt on his car. Okay, fun fact. I don't write wash me in the dirt on cars, but I do have a tendency to like do calculus equations on the dirt on my family's car. But wash me's good too. We'll do where you wrote wash me in the dirt on his car. Because that's the closest option to writing a quadratic equation. Not a quadratic equation, a calculus equation. You noticed a thin coat of sand and dust on Cove's car. It had probably been a while since he'd washed it. With a smirk, you carefully wrote wash me with your finger.
Very nifty.
Good work. I wonder if he's even gonna notice. The car beeped and unlocked. Cove ran up to you with his car keys in hand. His hair slipped into his face and he brushed it back. Shotgun. No, I get shotgun. No, that's fine. She clambered into the passenger seat without hesitation. You didn't argue and climbed into the back with Miranda. Oh, okay. She is the navigator, so I guess she does have a reason to be in shotgun. That's fine. I'll allow it. Terry activated the directions on her phone map and acted as their navigator, directing Cove to the crepes. The GPS tried to get Cove to turn into a non-existent road once, and wanted him to do a U-turn instead of just using a left turn. But with Terry looking at the actual path, it went smoothly enough. You are led to a small stall in a parking lot rather than a full building. That explained why there hadn't been pictures of the crepiteers? I guess that's how you say that. And why it was new to you despite living in this town your entire life. It was a completely new structure that popped up recently. There was a window you could walk up to, and one for cars to drive up to. Cove parked with a laugh.
Come on.
I don't think I need to put a shirt on for this, but I still want to try it. Let's go.
What?
Do you not trust us to eat in your car? I mean, crepes can be messy. See, she gestured to the drive-thru option, and Cove shook his head with a snort. I trust some people here, maybe, but wouldn't it be more fun to actually check it out? Everyone acknowledged his point and piled out. Terry tried to tease Cove a little, but Miranda started talking about the last time she'd had crepes. Apparently they'd been a dessert explosion, topped with multiple sauces, powdered sugar, and what Miranda was pretty sure had to be cake icing. That's sweet. I mean, literally, yes.
So great.
I like how she also said literally. It was so good, but I regretted it so much. I couldn't finish it, and I really tried. You can do it this time, Randy. Oh, so cute. There were some laughs. When you got up to the menu, you realized that there were more than just crepes. There were definitely crepes, many crepes. However, the stall also had a lot of different drinks as well. Teas, smoothies, milkshakes.
Woo!
Jackpot! She grinned and held out her fist for a fist bump. Miranda high-fived it. The two stared at the awkward, vaguely turkey-shaped hand configuration they had made, and then slowly put their hands down. Cove's mouth twitched in a smile. You stepped up to order first. You glanced back at the menu. We're going to do crepe and a drink. Hello, I'd like to get a crepe and a drink, please. There's a woman who looked a little older than you take the orders. She smiled back at you, ready to hear the specifics of your purchase. For the crepe, we want green tea. A green tea crepe? Yes. Or strawberry. Or plain. No, we'll do green tea. For fillings and toppings. Oh, so many options. Let's do strawberries. And do we want to go like indulgent and do cream cheese, or a little lighter and do whipped cream? Let's do whipped cream. Mixed berries? Nah, I'm not in a mixed berry mood today. Yeah, let's do that. Simple but tasty. After you pick the size, you're asked what you want to drink. Oh, milk tea. I love milk tea. Oh, an ice green tea. Let's do milk tea. Yeah, milk tea. You calls out a mix and a topping for the drink. Actually, I don't think I will, because, see, the thing about me and boba, like boba pearls, I like a couple, but I never like how many they actually put in drinks. I literally need, like, 3 boba pearls and I'm happy. So we'll just not put in anything. And, yeah, we don't need anything else. You paid and stepped aside to let your friends order. Lemon God. Cove got a lemon crepe with powdered sugar on top and the mixed berries. Oh, Cove, you have excellent taste. That sounds delightful. We better be sharing, because I want some of that crepe. Oh, that sounds so good. I'll be honest, that actually sounds better than what I got. I mean, mine sounds good too, but that one sounds fantastic. Terry went crazy with toppings. Although she ordered a plain crepe, she had it smothered in whipped cream, cream cheese, chocolate chips, chocolate syrup, and bananas. Yeah, and she can keep that one. That one sounds a bit much. Miranda opted for a frappe with caramel syrup and condensed milk. Oh, that sounds pretty good. The 4 of you stood off to the side as you waited for your treats. I heard what you ordered, June. Glad I'm not the only one to go for a drink and a crepe. I mean, to be honest, was there like any other option? That's the way you do it. I couldn't pick just one, and why not? Exactly, it's gonna be good. Yes, it is. Your crepe sounds amazing. I think yours sounds tasty. No, yours sounds tasty. I mean, mine sounds tasty too. Oh, I gotta get that. You grabbed your order. The others didn't take much time after that. With the goods collected, everyone admired their treats. Terry dug right into hers, and Miranda gave hers a tentative sip. Terry nodded acceptingly, with her mouth completely full. Miranda tilted the frappe over to her with a grin. Terry sipped it and clearly loved it. She raised her crepe over to Miranda. You could tell that there was an intention to make it look nice, but with all the assorted toppings piled on, only so much could be done. Miranda took a huge bite with gusto and sighed happily. Terry seemed satisfied and took another slurp of Miranda's drink. They had both only gotten one thing, probably because they knew end up sharing. Okay, that's smart. Cove and I probably could have figured that out and done that, but at the same time, we have far too many good options now. Cove went over to you, and there was definite interest in his eyes at your order. Good, because I want some of yours. Well, I just want to say, you can try mine. It was pretty good in summary. Yes, thank you. You tasted his and shared yours. Yes. He handed you a scrape first, and you tore off a piece and put it in your mouth. It was tart from the lemon, but the syrupy berry mix brought in the sweetness. The balance between the thin, almost spongy crepe and the juicy toppings made for a unique set of textures. You passed him yours, and he tilted his smoothie over. You took a sip and had to suck up a light strawberry chunk before the actual smoothie came up the straw. It was mostly I can't talk. It was mostly smooth, with the delightful tiny crystals of ice and the occasional bit of fresh strawberry. It matched well with the crepe, with even more berryness. Cove enjoyed his sampling too. He had a giant smile on his face and looked almost disappointed when you swapped back your treats. With that, Cove started to eat his treat in earnest. You saw him take a huge gulp of his smoothie, and then, without swallowing, he added a bite of his lemon crepe. His habit of mixing foods together wasn't anything new. He hummed in satisfaction, so you guessed he must have liked the combined flavors. Yeah, those flavors would go well together. Probably better than mine would. Cove? Terry tove off a piece of her crepe and held it out to Cove.
So?
Care to make a trade? Sure. Instead of continuing to loiter in the parking lot, the four of you started to walk down the sidewalk. There was a lot of sharing going on, with crepe bits and toppings being passed around. You wouldn't have been surprised if Terry ended up drinking more frappe than Miranda did. You kept going down the way, eating, drinking, and chatting. You hadn't realized how far the group had wandered until you ended up right at the now leaving sign. Apparently you were about to just walk right out into the middle of nowhere. Terry took her mouth off Miranda's straw and stopped sipping the frappe. Impossible. Preposterous. How are we already at the end? I always forget how tiny this town really is. Cove chuckled a little and swallowed a chunk of Terry's crepe.
I guess.
It kind of is, huh? It did feel that small when we were growing up. We'll say it definitely felt bigger then. There was a time when Sunset Bird had felt huge. It seemed as endless as the ocean. There was always some street you hadn't wandered down, something new for the tourists. But now, you had realized it was just a pond in this big, big world. Seeing the definite and only reinforcement of this, here was the seeing the definite and only reinforcement. Wow. It helps if I actually read the letters that are on the screen. Okay. Seeing the definite ends only reinforced this. Here was the boundary that proved your hometown could be walked out of with ease. I guess this means we should probably head back. One doesn't just walk into nowhere land. We're not only one, Terry. There's four of us. Terry scrunched up her face, not wanting to acknowledge the bad joke. She decided to ignore it. It stinks having to go all the way back. Yeah, but it's not like there's anything out that direction. Now, if we did keep going forward, it'd be even longer trip home. You stared off into the stretch of road as Cove agreed that he didn't want to go out any further. Can we take a break here first before we turn around? We've been walking for a while, and someone finished my drink. Right on cue, Terry loudly sucked air from the straw. It was so good. Miranda looked at her, but Terry remained unrepentant. In the end, though, it was agreed to hang around the sign before heading back to the car. It didn't take long to finish the rest of the food and drinks. Everyone gathered up the trash and stuffed it into bags and pockets for now. The group relaxed on the grass, keeping account of all the cars that drove past. It was not a high number. 14. The newest passing car drove into town from somewhere outside, but as the vehicle came by, it slowed down and you watched as it ultimately rolled to a complete stop. The black car parked right by the now leaving sign. Everyone exchanged a baffled look. But then the tinted window rolled down and the driver peered out. As soon as you saw his hair, you recognized him. No one else you knew presented themselves so distinctly. Hey, it's Baxter. Hey, neighbors. Cove also jolted with recognition. He passed on a cordial smile and waved politely. Afterwards, he put his mouth back over the straw of his long empty drink, as if trying to act cool. We'll just wave. He leaned forward and tried to get a better look. His hands were loose on the steering wheel, and he seemed rather relaxed to have just pulled over on the side of the road. You waved, and he nodded in acknowledgement. You thought about the odd picture this made. A fancy black car pulled over to talk to a group of teens, mostly still in beachwear. Miranda was incredibly confused and shrank back to watch. Terry tilted her head in an unspoken question. Cove made a quick gesture pointing towards Baxter, and a light bulb went off for Terry.
All right.
Ah, that's the new person in the condo. The B-man, right? Yeah, Baxter.
Oh.
Oh, I wasn't sure if I'd ever actually seen him. Her voice was quiet. Miranda usually got shy around new people. Terry was quite the opposite. Incredible, this is perfect. Terry hopped up from the grass and ran to Baxter's car, all full of excitement. Behind her, Miranda picked herself up and dusted imaginary dirt off her clothes. She sent a searching look to you and Cove, to which Cove shrugged. Miranda nodded and, with clenched fists, hesitantly followed Terry. Terry bent down to talk to Baxter through his window. She blasted through introductions, with Miranda putting in a shy wave. Cove looked at you. He still clearly had no intention of going over. We'll just stay with Cove. When Cove realized you were planning to stay with him, he smiled a little. Cove shuffled closer and dropped his voice. Honestly, I still find it kind of hard to talk to the guy. Yeah, I'll say I get it. Yeah, I thought you would. Cove sighed and ran a hand through his hair. He looked at you with a wry expression on his face. I'm glad you do, 'cause I don't think I could explain if you asked me to. He tries to be considerate, but it doesn't totally land for me. Sometimes people don't hit it off. The two of you waited for the others to finish up. You couldn't hear what they were saying from there, but you could see from body language that Terry was up to something, and Miranda did like it. You and your neighbor exchanged a look. After Miranda seemed to calm down slightly, Terry turned around to wave at you. She put her hands to her face to make a megaphone. Come on, get over here. Baxter's giving us a ride. Cove's mouth popped open in surprise, then his lips curled together in clear displeasure.
All right.
I should have known. She's always pulling something. He took a slow breath and shrugged. I guess we have to get over there. It's gonna be really awkward now since he knows we tried not talking to him. Yeah, we can't hide over here forever. You followed him over to the car, apparently about to get a lift. I would say you felt uncomfortable to be getting a ride from Baxter. You didn't know Baxter well enough to feel safe with him driving. Sure, you doubt he was going to kidnap everyone or something. You're a group out of the numbers, and you were pretty sure you could all take him in a fight, but still, it felt weird. You weren't in the habit of climbing into random people's cars. It always felt awkward. The seats, the smells, everyone's car etiquette were always different. Yes, exactly. That's like part of the reason I don't like using like Uber and stuff. I don't know. It's just odd. It's odd, and you never know what to expect. Or you never know exactly what to expect. You felt stressed out that Terry had put this on you. You arrived at the driver's side car window, and Baxter smiled welcomely. Hello.
Hey.
Cove greeted him mildly, his expression cautious. Howdy, Baxter. Alright, plan made. Let's hop in. You hesitantly opened the back door and slipped inside. The car was clean and smelled of air freshener. You stared at Cove for reassurance as you scooted all the way to the other side. Cove squeezed into the middle after you. Miranda took the last seat in the back, and you all tried to awkwardly buckle up. Were back seats really made for 3 adults? It honestly didn't seem like it. Terry gladly took the shotgun seat and had all the room she wanted.
Does that sound alright?
Well, welcome to my vehicle. I hope everyone is comfortable, and if someone could point me in the right direction, we can be on our way. Terry went back into navigator mode and outlined their journey. It was basically a straight line with one turn at the end into the parking lot. Baxter nodded from up in the driver's seat and pulled back onto the road. Luckily, the street was still dead empty. It took no time at all for Baxter to park right next to Cove's car. There wasn't even enough time for a proper conversation to start. The occupants didn't seem to mind. There were smiles all around when Baxter parked next to Cove's car. Woo! Miranda clapped quietly as Terry cheered. Cove chuckled nervously. So you're relieved you had made it. The trip had gone without issue. Baxter hadn't sped excessively or stopped for another set of teenagers in swimsuits. He'd just driven down the road, and now you were here. You sighed a breath of relief and put your hand on the door handle. We've arrived. That was easy. Terry flung open her door and climbed out. Everyone else exited the car as well. The group thanked Baxter with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Baxter himself got out too. Everyone congregated again in front of Baxter's and Cove's cars. Cove looked at the back of his and frowned. He finally discovered the wash me you'd put on it. I wonder who did that. You snickered along with Miranda, who realized you'd been caught.
Ooh.
It's a mystery. Right. Terry bounced over to Baxter and offered her hand for a handshake. He accepted it easily with a charming grin. You're a pal. You're too kind. It was no trouble whatsoever. I'll be keeping this car all summer. If it suits you, you're welcome to take my number and give me a ring whenever you're in need of another ride. That goes for everyone here. I have a car. Terry busted into laughter and Miranda fidgeted. She did not know what to do with that. Baxter really went fast, didn't he? He noticed her discomfort and smiled with a soft tilt of his head. I'd be happy to help again, but that's the only reason I offered. If you don't need it, you can pass on it. We're gonna stay silent. When her giggles subsided, Terry put a hand to her chin with brows furrowed. I wonder, would that option be available right now? You could valet us somewhere cool.
What?
Cove was taken aback. He put a hand on the hood of his car. Weren't we going back to the neighborhood? Wasn't Baxter going back to the neighborhood too? Why would we go somewhere else? Because we can. I mean, that's fair. Miranda squirmed nervously and then committed to piping up.
Maybe?
We could go to the park near my place. It's a really nice place to hang out. You and Cove shared a look. The big park was pretty nice. Let's do it. Baxter tapped the side of his face and thought.
It's doable.
That sounds doable. He glanced at Cove, then switched focus to you.
Well,
we have 2 cars. If some people want to go to the park, I could still take the others home. But if everyone's going, it wouldn't make sense for me not to. I kind of want to just go home with Cove. That sounds nice. Especially, like, you know, we've been out for a while. Baxter, he's a nice guy. He's just a bit much. Let's go back to the neighborhood with Cove. You would rather go back for now. Let the group know. Both girls frowned. Neither wanted to leave you or Cove behind. Terry especially looked troubled and started bouncing in place.
No.
Okay, that is true. I do feel slightly bad because we did specifically plan to meet up, but I want to go back to the beach. Today is all about us hanging out. We can't just bail. Miranda nodded and bit her lip. We don't have to go to the park. Going back to the neighborhood has plenty of appeal. It could prove to be the better idea. Cove winced and shook his head.
don't worry about it.
No, really, it's fine. We've done plenty of hanging out today. If you want to go to the park, you should. You don't have to worry about us. Go have fun with Baxter. Okay. She didn't sound too thrilled, and Miranda patted her on the shoulder.
Okay.
Guess we'll see you later then? Probably. Cove smiled, and she rolled her eyes at his wishy-washy answer. He knew you'd be seeing them again. Everyone finished saying their goodbyes, and the 3 climbed into Baxter's car. We're gonna wave. Terry waved back with both hands enthusiastically, where Miranda waved like a princess from the backseat. Before Baxter drove off, he inclined his head to you and Cove. Then Baxter rolled down his own window.
See you.
Have a safe journey back. I'll see you around the neighborhood. Baxter started to pull out of the parking lot, and Cove waved them off, stepping forward as they pulled away. Then it was just you and Cove left in the parking lot. He rubbed his hands together for a moment and unlocked his car. You got into the shotgun seat this time, and Cove took his place at the wheel. He put his keys in the ignition and turned to you. I'm surprised you didn't want to go. These are all decent options. We'll just I was ready to go back. Cove smiled, satisfied, and finally turned his keys to start the car. The car ride back passed quickly. They were all familiar roads you'd seen before. Soon you'd return to the comfort of your own neighborhood. Cove pulled in and parked. He shut off his car, then you both got out to stand in the road.
I guess.
Guess that's it. Thanks for the ride, Cove. I'll see you later. Wait, why are we going separate ways? It was fun. Wait, no, we were supposed to go hang out with Cove. That's fine. Plus the farewells given, you walked to your front door. You completely changed out of your swimwear, or swimsuit, and into more comfortable clothes. It was definitely a benefit of coming back. Oh yeah, I forgot we were still wearing our wetsuit. Time ticked by as the sun started to set. Orange gold light streamed in through the windows. You could tell the weather was still really nice out there. Your attention was taken by your phone. Will do. You saw it right away as your phone was in your hand. At the top of the screen, a little alert told you that you had a new message. Fireworks! Hi June, we're gonna see fireworks. Do you want to come? Oh, and Terry texted Cove. He said he'll be there. Well, obviously we're going. How did their trip start at hanging out in the park and end at finding some previously unknown fireworks spectacle? It was definitely news to you. Yes. Yeah, I'd love to. Fireworks are fun. Or should I say fireworks shows are fun? I've kind of gotten tired of just like when like random people shut off fireworks and they are trying to sleep and it's just like fireworks going off. But like actual fireworks shows are still very cool. Fireworks was kind of out of the blue, but sounded like a lot of fun. That was something you couldn't miss. Miranda sent back a cheery smiley face not even 5 seconds later. Then you got a yay, and she sent another message that told you that Cove would be out in his car soon. You quickly got yourself ready and headed out into the world once more. On the way, you sent a message to Cove that you were coming. He texted that he was already outside. Just as promised, Cove was waiting by his car. He hadn't bothered to change at all. He was quite comfortable going around in swim shorts. He slipped his phone into his pocket and waved you over. Without needing to say a thing, you got into the shotgun seat. You noticed that the exterior of his car was no longer coated with dust. He must have washed it in the past few hours. Direct action. Cove looked over to you from the driver's side and smirked as he started the car up. Here we go again. Yep. He pulled out into the road and raced toward the city as the sun continued to sink below the horizon. When city lights sparkled around you, Cove started looking for a parking spot. It had been a smooth drive, but unfortunately finding parking was a task. You tried to text Miranda to see where they had parked, but she admitted that there hadn't been any openings around there. They had gotten lucky with one single spot. Cove had to drive around a few blocks, but finally spotted something. He pulled in and parked, feeling just as triumphant as if he'd won an actual prize. Terry sent you a text saying to hurry up and get to the waterfront. Miranda attached a helpful picture of where they were. You pointed the way to Cove, and the two of you jogged around a bend and then down the brick-lined walkway. Eventually you saw 3 silhouettes in the distance. They started to wave and yell. One of them jumped in place with their arms going back and forth. It had to be your friends. You rushed over to them. Miranda and Terry ran up to meet you halfway, with faces full of smiles.
Hey!
We missed you. Buddies! I knew the day wasn't over for us. Hey, guess you were right. I'm happy we made it. Baxter had stepped up at some point too. He ran a hand through his hair, trying not to interrupt the reunion. Hello. Hey. Cove gave him a nod. With the band back together, the group walked back to the area where Baxter, Miranda, and Terry had originally set up at. It was a quiet, open area on the waterfront. Cove let out a relieved sigh after things calmed down. So, did we miss anything?
Nah.
Nah, you're good. Nothing's happened yet. We think it's gonna start really soon, though. What are these fireworks even for? Well, she smiled a big grin at Miranda. Randy talked about watching fireworks at the park, and that reminded me about how there's this big company having an event tonight, and I heard they were gonna have fireworks. There's no way we're even getting into that party, but... She put a finger up and her smile turned devious.
We're cool.
I'm positive we'll still be able to see the fireworks from here. They can't hide explosions in the sky from the public. That's ridiculous. You slowly wonder how Terry had convinced Cove to come without prior explanation. He was utterly stunned that this was the source of the fireworks. To be fair, you hadn't asked Miranda for the details either. Cove scratched his head in defeat.
I mean,
Guess we're already here. It's kinda too late now. You bet your wet blanket it's too late. That's an interesting phrase. She shook her head with exasperation, but let him off with minimal teasing. You thought this was kind of a silly situation? I mean, it is. And we're gonna go. You thought this was a kind of silly situation. You held back a chuckle about it all. This night was insane. You had gone all the way out to the city to maybe be able to see some fireworks you hadn't been officially invited to. Terry led Miranda to sit down on the oval slabs along the path. Miranda took a seat and began tapping her knees together as she waited. Terry, meanwhile, crouched more than sat. Baxter flashed an unreadable smile at Cove and you, and then took a spot next to the girls. Cove seemed surprised and looked over his shoulder to watch him begin to chat with Terry.
I think?
I guess he's trying not to upset us? Whether he left to make Cove and you more comfortable, want to escape potential awkwardness, or if he really had just hit it off with the girls earlier was anyone's guess. That's nice. Something seemed to strike Cove as he tried unsuccessfully to hide a smile. Most of us are in swimsuits. Wearing beachwear in the middle of the city in the dark while waiting for a fireworks show was clearly the joke of the day for him. Cove snorted once more and then looked back up at the sky. Oh, pretty! A flash lit up the sky with a brilliant green. Your eyes flew off the building in the distance and silently watched with bated breath. You heard a second boom and a red firework lit up the sky. Woo! The show's starting! It's so pretty. They came running over to get closer. They came running over to get closer, positively beaming. Terry pressed herself to the waterfront fence, getting as close as physically possible without just going swimming again. Baxter followed a few steps behind. His mouth hung open at the side for a moment until he caught himself, and once again shifted to pleasantly composed. More fireworks went off, shooting out hundreds of tiny sparkling lights. The colors stood out starkly against the dark of the night. The biggest ones washed your surroundings with their hue, turning your world blue, then red, then golden.
Welcome.
Did I deliver or did I deliver? Miranda's eyes glittered and she lightly bumped Terry with her hip. Good job. Terry stumbled at the friendly nudge, but was pleased with the compliment. She grinned back. Miranda lightly swung her hips the opposite way to give you a bump as well. It was friendly and soft.
Woo!
We did it. You smiled at her and nodded. You were glad that everyone seemed to be having a good time. Cove stared up to the sky with wonder, while Terry squealed in joy after a series of especially grand explosions. Miranda pointed to one that was shooting up and then gasped when it boomed and turned into a huge sphere of violet light. Baxter smiled in appreciation. It was good to see your friends in high spirits. The rest of the group huddled around the railing to take in the show as closely as possible. Miranda stood close by. Terry's hand gripped the top. Cove laid his arms across it while leaning forward, and Baxter rested his elbows on the rail, putting his back towards the fireworks. You seem to have more fun watching the others than the actual show. She pointed out a golden firework and beamed. Ah, that's so cool! Terry held up a hand for a high five, and Miranda obliged her. Terry whooped and shot you a smile. What color do you think the next one will be? Without giving Baxter a glance, Cove answered immediately. Green. It was orange. Baxter chuckled, but was interested in calling Cove out for being wrong. Is that your favorite color? Green.
That's...
It's one of them. I think that's nice. It matches you. And is yours black? That's one of them. Cove smirked just a little and loved the conversation there. Okay, obviously we're gonna stand next to Cove. Cove looked away from the fireworks and grinned at you. He was glad to be spending time with you and tilted his head at the spectacular multicolored fireworks above. I think that's been my favorite my favorite so far. He shot you another look and nodded, wanting you to move up closer. In front of him you could see the night's lights reflected on the water. You took a moment to watch him and the fireworks reflected in his eyes. Cove grinned like a kid. Just lay your head against Cove. You nestled yourself closer and rested your head on your boyfriend. If you listen closely, you could just make out the sound of his heartbeat. Aww. He hummed quietly and then lowered his own head down. It took a little readjustment, but soon you were both comfortable with each other. Aw, that's so cute! Your head rested on his right shoulder and his neck tilted so that his cheek rested on top of yours. He was warm and steady under you. Cove's gaze drifted from the show of dazzling light straight to you, and he sighed dreamily. You didn't know when you'd last seen him so blissful. The spectacle continued up to the ante by bringing more fireworks out at a time. The colors danced across the sky and reflected over the water. You reached out a hand and watched as it was tinted green while a big boom sounded. Fireworks were a normal summer tradition, but this was admittedly an unconventional approach. Showing up in the city last minute to watch a display from a technically private event, that made this feel special in a way that just planning to go to a public fireworks show never would. Terry's idea may not have left you with a lot of time to prepare, but it sure led to a unique situation. It was clear this was an unforgettable night. As the finale sounded, blazing the sky with an unbelievable beauty, you remembered thinking that there might never be a night exactly like this one again, not for the rest of your life. You planned to hold on to the feelings you had in that moment for as long as you could. Yay, that was good. That ended up being so cute at the end. I love it. Okay, and now we're gonna take a quick break. That one moment took an hour and a half. We'll see how many we get through today. But yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. I need to go get some more water, so feel free, get up, stretch your legs, get some food, get some water, do whatever you need to do, or just stay here and hang out. But in either case, I will be back in a couple minutes. water has been acquired. So now, on to the next one. Oh, you can do an outdoor market. That's cool. I want to go to a farmer's market or like outdoor market again. It's been so long. It's just not one particularly convenient to me. Okay. From the moment you woke up, you knew that today was going to be busier than usual. There was a list of errands that needed to be finished before the day was done. First up was visiting one of the biggest farmers markets in the area. It was only open 2 weekends a month during certain parts of the year. Why am I tangled up in my headphone cord? One sec. There we go. Okay, it was rare that you and your family were able to attend, so your moms like to make the most out of every minute of it. And you realized it was not just them feeling that way when you heard a whistle from your left side. Wow, this is a swanky show. Vegetables have never seemed so highbrow. Seriously, they don't mess around with their products.
Isn't that great?
Isn't it exciting? Liz crossed her arms. You could tell she was amused. We could have picked a more perfect trip. It's been too long since we've had a true family outing. Her teasing tone said more than she actually did. Your next door neighbors had joined you this day, and that's what made it a true family outing. The three parents laughed approvingly. Out of the corner of your eye, you caught Cove looking at you sympathetically. Some things had never changed. Some jokes never died. You'd long accepted that. You were excited to check things out. There were so many stalls, you couldn't even imagine what hidden gems you might find among them. Bubbling with anticipation, you smiled. Yeah, exactly. That's the best thing about outdoor markets. You can find so many fun and unique things there. And now I want kettle corn. Because we used to always get kettle corn when we went to a farmer's market. In fact, there was a while when we went to like the local farmer's market just to get kettle corn. Because family and friends had a kettle corn stand there. And so we basically just went for kettle corn. I haven't had that kettle corn in forever either. I might need to change that at some point. Well, I'm ready to get started. I've got plenty of dishes in mind I could use ingredients for. Before your moms respond to that, they glanced at each other and smiled. Yes, that's a very good idea, Cliff. This place is much larger than it seems. It's difficult to visit each part in a single day.
I got it.
I'm sure we can make a decent dent together at least. Actually, since there are so many of us this time, we could take different sides of the market.
Sounds good.
Divide and conquer? Sounds brilliant. Okay, this is like a giant market. Everyone watched your mom, surprised. No one had considered that an option, but your mom flashed the group a dazzling smile, continuing with the thought. Though it's a little unfair that there are four Wordweaver family members and only 2 Holdens here. So I'll go with you boys to even out the odds.
Okay.
That's fine with me. Cliff scratched the back of his neck and slowly met Cove's stare. They both seemed unconvinced, but they weren't sure what to say about it. Don't worry, we'll be apart for only a few hours, and then we'll have something to talk about at the end of it. Father and son ultimately nodded. This wasn't an argument they were going to win.
Alright,
I don't get the point, but I also don't mind spending the first part of the trip with Jun and Ma. Ma clapped her hands together at last at that. Wonderful. Are the teams ready to go? Can I be the one who goes with the Holden instead? I think we're just gonna stay silent because obviously it's like we want to go with Cove, but we don't want to like just ditch the fam, so we'll just not say anything. Noticing that you are quiet, Ma hooked an arm around you in a little side hug. You smiled softly.
Thank you.
Taking the lead, Mom walked over towards Cove and Cliff, who were still eyeing her confusedly.
Let's go.
Come on, boys, we're heading out. Sure, okay. Cove looked at you softly and found himself pulling forward, stopping in front of you. His expression flickered for a moment, hesitant.
Bye.
Aw. Bye. Cove lightly took one of your hands in his and gave it a small squeeze. He dipped his face forward, wanting to kiss farewell. When instead he stopped midway, his whole body stiff. He jerked his gaze back at your mom, and you realized that she had grabbed the hem of his shirt. She gave it a small tug before letting go. Okay, that's rude.
No, no, no.
Time's wasted, Cove, and I've known you long enough to be aware that you're one to linger. If I don't stop you now, you'll only drag your feet on parting ways more. I mean, that's fair, but at the same time, the two of you can snuggle and make out as much as you want later. We have important shopping to do now. I mean, fair, but you could have let one little kiss goodbye in before pulling us away, but fine. Cove gasped at what he felt was a truly obscene thing to say. His face burned red, but that was ignored by him. He spoke with an unimpressed roll of his eyes.
Seriously?
You don't need to literally pull me away from June. I'm not that clingy. Mom snickered with a shake of her head. Cove's eyebrows raised over the reaction, and he turned to Ma. She wouldn't meet his eyes as she whistled innocently. I mean, at least he's getting along well with everyone. But still, come on, Mom. Just one little kiss before you drag him off. Lucy smirked ear to ear, and Cove whipped his head towards his dad. Mr. Holden couldn't offer anything more than an apologetic shrug. It was only then that it dawned on Cove that everyone did think that he was that needy. That's kind of cute. Finally, he dared to face you with wide, pleading eyes. I kind of like this one, kind of middle ground. Cove's totally capable of being independent when he wants to be. Because I mean, yeah, we'll do this kind. I think, or there's nothing wrong with being attached. It's nice. Now we'll do the middle ground, where it's like we're standing up for him, but at the same time we're kind of like, yeah, we don't have a strong argument against this. You spoke very matter of fact and fixed a stern gaze on the group. Cove, meanwhile, beamed at having your support. Yay! Without thinking, Cove took another step forward, feeling drawn to you. Also, again, Mom grabbed the back of his shirt. She tried suppressing her laughter, but a few chuckles escaped. Actions speak louder than words. Cove's mouth twisted as he struggled to come up with something to say in his defense. He was newly embarrassed all over again. But this is really cute. Yeah, well, so what? The admission had Liz, your mom's, and his dad bursting into laughter. Cove grimaced and walked several steps from the group before stopping. He clearly wanted to move on, so much that he was physically moving away. You smiled softly and waved goodbye. When he noticed, Cove's mouth pulled into a bent smile of his own, and he seemed to feel a bit better.
See you later.
Take care of yourselves. At that, Mom picked a direction and set out into the market with Mr. Holden and Cove following behind her. Grinning, Ma set them off with a big wave. Liz gave a daintier goodbye wave herself. I mean, this is valid, but dampering a good mood, but not like a massive one, just a little bit. Felt unsure about it. I mean, this one is true. Despite the change of plans, you're still glad to be there. But it'll be better with Cove. But at the same time, it is nice that everyone's getting along so well. So we'll just say, despite the change of plans, you're still glad to be there. It wasn't what you imagined, but that didn't matter. There was a whole market to explore, and you couldn't wait to find some good stuff. We could get a present for Cove. That's what we could do when he's not here. When they were gone, Ma cheerfully turned towards you and Lizzie. She put her hands on her hips. Do you think there'll be any nice ginger around here? I want ginger. We'll have to find out. You nodded in agreement, keen to truly get the trip going. Ma led you both into the busy market. Some time passed browsing. There were only a few stalls you stopped at. You had fun chatting and laughing, pointing out various things to Ma and Liz and vice versa. At one point, Ma stopped suddenly. She put a hand on her belly and gave a heartfelt smile. I think I should have used the bathroom before we left home, like the two of you responsibly did. Just need to pee?
Yes.
Yes, Liz. I'll have to visit the ladies' room now. We'll ask if we should wait here. Ma craned forward as she struggled to pinpoint the direction she needed to go. She gently brushed your comment away. There's no need to worry about me for this, or waste time standing around. Keep on shopping. Though, actually, I might need help finding my way. Can you please come, Lizzie? Why do I feel like we're being set up? You and your sister had to share a look over that. Why do that of all things? Okay, what do the parents have? Well, not the parents. Cove's dad didn't seem to be in on it. What do the moms have in store for us? I feel like they're setting us up for something.
Hey!
Ma, if anyone should go anywhere on their own, shouldn't it be you? You're the one needing a detour, and you're the parent here. Ma giggled, unfazed by the resistance. Liz, meanwhile, tipped the brow of her hat up, watching Ma skeptically. Soon enough, Jun will have to handle doing these kind of errands on his own. It makes good practice. We need practice going grocery shopping? What? Ma hooked an arm around Lizzie's and pulled her along.
Have fun.
Have fun. We'll find each other again later. Excuse me? Why? What? We're just gonna stand there stunned. It's like you purposely made us go into groups and now you're ditching me? You watched dumbfounded as they waded into the crowd. They were out of sight within moments, and what started as a group outing rapidly became you entirely on your own. Okay. You thought screw them. You're done with this whole trip. You thought Ma was being ridiculous, but you didn't really mind. You weren't sure what ulterior motives Ma had for pulling this, but that was far down your priority list at the moment. You were starting to feel happy at the idea of doing things at your own pace. You texted Cove to meet up. Or you walked off on her own. These are all good options. Well, let's text Cove, though. At that point, you had no interest in your mom's plans. If they weren't going to stick around to follow it through, you're going to do what you actually wanted. Hey, Diamond, welcome back. Taking out your phone, you quickly pulled your chat with Cove up and said, "Wanna shop together? Or could I join your group?" Mom and Liz went off themselves and left me. It wasn't long at all before you got a response back. Cove responded in rapid-fire messages. What? Wait, where are you? You took a survey of your surroundings and then sent him a description of where you were and the path you took to get there. What did you miss? Let's see. We finished the outing with the friends. We saw fireworks. We cuddled with Cove a little bit. And now we're at a giant farmer's market with the family, or the families. And the moms seem to have some plan. But I don't know what it is yet. And let's see what else. I guess that's about it at the moment. So our moms ditched us, and now we're trying to see where Cove's at. Outing as in we're just at the farmer's market. So the context of this scene is you're the player character, his sister, his mom's, and then Cove, his boyfriend, and Cove's dad are all at a farmer's market together. But then your moms are like, we should split up. And then one of your moms just ditched us. So that's where we're at. So we're by ourselves in the farmer's market trying to find Cove. We're trying to meet up with Cove so we're not alone. And yeah, that's where we're at. I read that. While you waited for his response, you watched all the people moving around and past you. There wasn't a single familiar face. When your phone received a new text, you breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, I'm on my way. Great, thanks. Cove couldn't get there fast enough. There wasn't any reason that you could think of why you had to wander around the market alone. When you were certain Cove wasn't sending any more messages for now, you went to put your phone away. The familiar keychain caught your eye, bringing a warm smile to your lips. It was still so easy to remember those early days of your relationship with Cove. His pink cast, his big sad eyes, his frustration with his parents. But through it all, he was there. Since you met him, Cove had always been there. You'd grown up to really appreciate what it meant. You placed your phone back where it belonged and checked around for a nearby stall to kill time at. One pulled your focus. Oh, fudge. So many flavors. Oh, key lime pie. That sounds good. Maple walnut, red velvet. Oh, those are all fantastic flavors. Okay. Well, most of the stalls were selling various garden-grown foods. This one had an array of homemade fudge. There were even vegan versions of every option. Sure, we'll go look closer. You sidestepped past a few other people and got yourself right in front of the counter for a better look. There's a wide spread, dozens and dozens of delicately cut squares of decadence. The owner smiled and approached you to explain their shop. The fudge is sold in boxes of 4 pieces. They can either be all the same, all different, or any mix you like. Are you looking to buy any? I want to get a box for Cove. Looking at the treats made you think of Cove. You grinned, hoping he'd like what you picked out. We'll get myself a box also. Your mind was already filling with thoughts of sinking your teeth into the delicious fudge. There was no walking away empty-handed now. Do we want a box to share with everyone else? I mean, I suppose that would be the nice thing to do. They were kind of teasing us earlier, though. But we could. Nah. Yeah, I could use some fudge. I'm glad you came to the right place then. Okay, what do we want? Definitely want a key lime. And let's do a chocolate mint. Maple walnut and dark chocolate. Okay, now for Cove. Let's also get him a key lime. And let's do a red velvet, cookies and cream, and dark chocolate mint. You're already looking forward to when you eat your fine selection of fudge. You couldn't help but try to imagine how Cove might react when you present this to him. You paid, and there was no stopping the large grin going all across your face. Pivoting on your heels, you wove your way back to where you were initially. You kept yourself on alert, trying to spot Cove among the crowd. For the next several minutes, you stood there on high alert, trying to... Okay, that just said that. Anyways, you broke into a smile when you saw his familiar seafoam hair sticking above the masses. He hadn't seen you yet, but Cove was walking with purpose in your direction. You noticed he was hefting a couple bags in his hands. Cove, over here! He instantly stopped dead in his tracks. Alert Cove's head snapped up and his eyes searched the crowd until they landed on you. His whole demeanor brightened at the sight.
Jun!
But even from a distance you could tell his mood shifted again. He seemed serious. He weaved through passerbys awkwardly in an attempt to get through as fast as reasonably possible, nearly stumbling more than once. You went over to him. You stepped around a few people to meet Cove partway.
Are you okay?
Yeah, what did my mom think about you coming? I have no idea. Yours weren't the only ones to just leave. Your mom took my dad before you even messaged. They were planning something. It was all a ploy to get us to have time alone together? Why did you... What? I don't know why it just didn't make smaller groups to begin with, but whatever. You're kidding. I wish. I can't believe this happened to both of us. They planned it. They had to. But I don't know why. Are they pranking us? I don't know either. And you meant it. You couldn't fathom what your moms were up to. Cove shook his head, trying to clear his mind.
So...
His change in tone caught your attention. You watched his eyes start to twinkle with mischief as his mouth pulled into a cheeky smile. You know, it's technically later, and your mom isn't around this time. You chuckled, knowing exactly what he was implying. That incident was already replaying in your head. Obviously we're gonna kiss him. You stepped closer, placing a hand on his upper arm. Cove beamed and leaned in. It was quick. Too quick, but you could feel him smile through it. When you both depart, Cove chuckled affectionately. I'm glad it's later.
Me too.
So, his gaze wandered off as if one of your parents might simply appear if he kept checking, and you could tell he was still processing the situation. He scratched the back of his head, looking sheepish. I love that look. He's so cute. Do you still want to go shopping with me? Yeah. Cove beamed, and you were ecstatic at the thought of spending the rest of the trip. You were ecstatic at the thought of spending the rest of the trip with him. It was finally time to take some control back over your day. Cove's grin twisted into a conspiratorial. I can English. Cove's grin twisted into a conspiratorial one. You both knew that you were going against whatever had really been planned for this outing, but luckily, neither of you cared one bit at this point. I'm knocking stuff off my desk, but that's fine. Okay. So where to first? I don't mind going back the way I came if it's new to you. It's not hard to miss stuff, even if I've gone past it. What have you gotten? Cove shuffled his bags around and started pulling them open so you could peek inside each one. You recognized the array of things he picked up around the market. I've also got typical things I can use pretty easily so far. Nothing super exciting. And, well, I picked up a few things I figured you might want to have too. There were a few cucumbers, some lemons, and potatoes, among other things that were wrapped up so you couldn't discern what they were. You chose perfectly, thank you. What Cove bought made sense, but it was far from a complete selection. You glanced around at the nearby stalls. Want to start over there? Cove followed your eyes as you pointed at one of the larger stalls. It was filled with several kinds of staple fruits and vegetables.
Come on.
Yeah, let's go. Don't mind my chair making noises. Once a few people finished paying and moved, you and Cove got yourselves directly in front of the shop. There are so many things to pick from. Oh boy, what do we want? We want some peaches and strawberries. Let's see. I mean, he already has cucumbers and potatoes. Do we want anything else? Honestly, peaches and strawberries just sounds really good. Let's just do the peaches and strawberries. The shop owner put your selection together and handed it to you all in a single bag. Happily, you paid and waited for Cove to make his purchase. Ready to go? Cove grinned, satisfied with his new choices. He had added another bag to his small but growing collection. You nodded. Oh wait, before we start moving on and everything, wanna hold hands? Obviously. Yes. There was no way you could say no to that face. Delighted, you laced your fingers with his without hesitation. Cove squeezed your hand back. With renewed eagerness, your boyfriend nodded his head in the direction you had been going towards.
All right.
Okay, now let's go. That's so cute. Together, you and Cove wandered the market, on the lookout for any stalls that caught your attention. Cove was walking around with a spring in his step, talking about the various meal ideas he had in mind. After a while, you had to go greater distances to find something of interest. Several of the stalls were selling the same goods. It was only a matter now of which you wanted to buy from. You continued ambling down the path until Cove stopped suddenly, literally pulling you away from your thoughts. Cove? You followed his eye line past the crowds. Immediately, you knew what grabbed him. Homemade jams and local honey. Oh, that sounds good. The stall was glittering with quaint glass jars stacked high, each encasing gels of various colors. Cove's eyes were practically sparkling at the sight. His feet automatically began to take him there, likely without being fully aware he had made an unexplained detour. When you got closer, you were surprised there were even more varieties than you thought. There were even different honeys based on what time of pollen the bees used. Cove's focus seemed torn between a bottle of blackberry jam and one of clover honey. I mean, those are good choices, but not exactly exciting ones. That's okay. Want some honey? That's a little too cheesy. I wonder what on earth could you possibly want at this stall? That's a good one. I mean, I don't know, that one's kind of cute, but it's also slightly cringe. We'll go with, I wonder, what on earth could you possibly want at this stall? Your voice was dripping with sarcasm, and there was no holding in your laughter when he gave you a disapproving side-eye. You thought things over for yourself, too. Whoa. Honey butter. Plum jam. I don't think I've ever had plum jam. Spring wildflower honey. Let's get some plum jam. Orange blossom or wildflower? Let's do wildflower honey. Do we want to get a thing of blackberry jam too? I mean, Cove was eyeing it. Blackberry jam is good. Yeah, okay, we'll grab a blackberry, and that's it. You paid, and the shop owner started putting together your order. They carefully packed it in a single bag with paper. Thank you very much. Amused, you watched Cove give in and just buy both the clover honey and blackberry jam. He also went all in, getting spring wildflower honey and plum jam too. So now I have like 2 of everything. That's okay. That's funny. The shop owner thoughtfully wrapped each in brown paper to protect them before putting them away in a bag. He handed the purchase to Cove.
Thank you.
You both stepped away from the stall. Cove didn't fail to notice the look you'd been giving him since he agonized over his toast toppers. Toast toppers? That is a great phrase. Why have I never thought of that? Toast toppers. I like that. I'm far too amused by that. Hey, this doesn't go bad for a long time, so why not stockpile? I could have chosen one if I wanted to. Yeah, exactly. There's no harm in getting a couple extra. Alright, Cove. It'll be nice to enjoy snacking on for a while. As he began to stroll, Cove looked up at the sky. He smiled. It was sort of unexpected considering all of this was technically an errand, and unexpected changes often upset him. But he was happy, and Cove liked doing this kind of normal thing. And you could tell that Cove especially enjoyed doing these kind of things with you. Aww. You're feeling the same as him. You aren't going to let what happened put a damper on this outing. I'm glad you're having a good time. We're so domestic. That is kind of cute. We're gonna say I'm glad you're having a good time. Well, I don't know. I like we're so domestic. You know, we're gonna do it. We're so domestic. Cove took a sharp intake of air and started coughing for a moment. Afterwards, he looked at you and your teasing grin and chuckled.
You're right.
That's true. I like it. Later, when you spotted a less crowded area, you took a break from browsing. Cove started rummaging through one of his bags just to check on how his goods were doing. A smile grew on his face as he went on to the next. You chuckled knowing that Cove wouldn't let anything go to waste. There was a single doubt he was going to eat it all. You held a hand in front of your face as you squinted upwards. The sun had moved quite a bit. You'd been in the market for a good while now. Neither your feet nor your arms were sore right now, and Cove looked to be doing fine too, but that was something that could be coming. There was a price to pay for this much shopping, and it wasn't always just in money. We'll ask if you want me to carry your bags, because he has more than I do. Cove stared at you unsure, but you just held a hand out expectantly.
What?
You don't have to do that. I bought it, and besides, you're already carrying stuff. It's not going to change anything. I want to do it for you. Okay, you win. Or it's actually kind of a loss if you're willing to... wow. Okay, you win. Or it's actually kind of a loss you're willing to take. Nah, it's a win.
Thanks.
Cove bundled up his bags into two groups and held them out for you to take. You accepted, but had to temporarily put all the bags down on the ground. He chuckled, watching you shuffle the bags around so each arm wasn't carrying too much.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this. Really, it's nice of you. No problem. Standing up straight with the bags, you were all set to get going again. You grinned, happy to do this. With that, you and Cove continued your trip through the market together. Ma and Mom had both texted you during the trip, though only to say that they hoped you'd found some good stuff and that they'd see you later. There were no answers on where they went or why. You and Cove continued to wind your way through the bustling market, the list of outstanding items steadily shrinking while bags grew heavier. Eventually, Cove realized that he hadn't checked his own phone in a while. The two of you came to a stop in the nearest alcove, where you'd be out of the stage stream of people perusing the stalls, and he pulled out his phone. Cove... Okay, sometimes it says the same thing like twice in a row. You watched his eyes dart over the screen as he read the waiting messages. Not important. I can reply to that later. He mumbled his verdict under his breath. Then Cove's face scrunched up with confusion.
Huh?
Wait, I've got a message from my dad. Listen to this. Cove, I wasn't part of the plan. I didn't know what was going on when I left with Jun's mom. Where are you? He sent that ages ago. I didn't hear it come in. He sent another one since then. Says he hopes I'm alright and that he's not bothering me. The newest one says everybody's going to the parking lot soon and we can meet up there. He lowered his phone, his eyes narrowed. The same conclusion that was settling on you had landed on Cove as well. So it was on purpose. He lifted the phone again, staring hard at the screen. Did my mom pull this stunt when we were little? You know, that time she took us to the mall? Is this a mom thing? Is this a mom thing? Cove blinked, a slight frown furrowing his forehead. He didn't seem to know how to respond to this. The crowd of people passing by stayed as noisy as ever, a sharp contrast to the silence that had fallen over you and Cove. He was rubbing the screen of his phone against his shirt, wiping away dust and debris. He continued scrubbing the screen long after anything could have remained, the action a poor substitute for pushing away the awkwardness of the moment. As they were struggling to comprehend this. Some of your parents' actions made more sense with this context, but the bigger question, that of why, was still weighing down on you. Will do. How are they going to explain this? He laid his hands on your shoulders, grounding you. Cove's frown grew taut, his mouth a stiff, serious line, but his eyes wide with concern.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry about your mom's, leaving you all alone out here like this without warning. His speech was slower than usual. You suspected that he was choosing each word carefully. It was natural, but you appreciated that he didn't want to risk upsetting you further. I don't know if you want to talk to them about this, but I could definitely back you up. I totally get that it's sucky. So you want to let it go. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just move on.
It's okay.
Aw. His voice was soft and reassuring. He smiled, a gesture of gentle encouragement. You know what? Sure, we'll vent about it. I didn't want things to be like this, but they didn't even talk about it. I didn't get a chance to say anything. Cove listened, nodding gently as you unburdened yourself. You then drew a deep breath, the fresh air steadying you. You didn't stop until your lungs were full. Cove watched over you, still concerned.
Sorry.
Even though I guess it's not exactly my fault this time, but is there anything I could do to make you feel better? Even a little bit? Oh, so many good options. Like a hug would be nice, but I think saying you already have. I did? Yeah, you really did. Cove nodded in understanding. He smiled, a simple, open and honest smile, and you knew that he'd accepted your answer. After a moment, he stepped further away from you, face turned. Cove closed his eyes and took a deep breath. His brow creased, then furrowed deeper into a scowl. his arms tightly. I can read. His arms tightly coiling together. So they did do something stupid. I knew it. His voice had taken on an exaggerated quality, but that truly distinguished it from Cove's typical speaking tone was the abundance of rage. This is such a chore. Parents are so dumb. Why do people have to go places with family members anyways? I hate them, and I also hate farmers markets. You got it instantly. It had been years since the boy with the bullcat had been in town for the summer, but Cove had never forgotten. To this day, he continued to unleash his impersonation whenever the moment felt right. Sometimes you wondered if the act had grown more exaggerated over the years, or if the kid really was always that ridiculous. Luca burst out laughing. And every time it never failed to crack you up. Cove gave you a lopsided smile, letting the joke rest for now. Come on, we should probably go meet up with the group. Yeah. You didn't dally any longer, slipping back into the crowd and making your way towards the entrance of the farmer's market. It didn't take long to reach the parking lot. Your parents, Mr. Holden and Liz, were already waiting there, and they waved at you both as you approached. Your own family seemed to be in pretty good moods. In contrast to Mr. Holden, he stared at Cove with open concern as you got closer. Hey bud, hey June, how you doing? We'd be doing better if we hadn't been abandoned in a farmer's market by our families. You saw your mom's frowning at his response, Ma glancing from Cove to Mom with blinking eyes. Just because June is really laid back doesn't mean you can just leave him out of your plans. I expect him to go with it every time. Ma hung her head ashamed, and Mom had a hand pressed to her cheek. You could tell that they were quickly regretting their scheme.
I'm so sorry.
Her words were full of emotion. Mom squeezed Ma's arm. We were trying to make the errand more of a trip, less of a chore. Ma nodded. We didn't think you, Cove, and Liz wanted to be stuck trudging around a market with your parents all day. So why didn't you just have people choose who they want to go with? Especially not in the summer. But you're always very thoughtful and don't like to leave your moms behind. So we did ourselves. It was only going to be for the market, not the other shops, or other stops, I promise. Still, you're right, we could have just told you and let you make your own call. I'm really sorry, neither of us meant to upset you.
I'm really sorry.
All gas, no brakes, and we should have known better. Ma ditched me too, after pulling her urgent potty break stunt, if that helps. I went off to do my own shopping, as it seems they planned.
Sorry.
Sorry I didn't check back in with you. I wasn't thinking and just tried to blow it off. You quietly took in their stories of what happened. Over to the side, Cove was talking to his dad. Thanks for telling me something was up, though I feel bad for missing the warning when you sent it.
You're welcome.
It's no trouble, sport. I learned my lesson about making surprise plans. Cove smiled at his dad. Mr. Holden, laughing, clapped Cove on the back.
Not bad.
Wow, we're really being outplayed today. You realized you hadn't been the only onlookers to the Holden's moment. Your moms were exchanging rueful looks. Liz had her arms crossed over her chest, patiently watching it all unfold. Yes, it looks like it. We better find some way to catch up.
In that case?
Maybe we can do June's chores for the next week? Mom jabbed Ma on the shoulder. You might be onto something. June, how'd you like the sound of that? They looked at you hopefully. I mean, sure, if you want to do my chores for a week, go for it. Good, we're serious. And at the very least, we can make sure everyone stays together for the rest of the stops we're making. You all nodded at the suggestion.
Yes.
We won't let you down. We'll be the best sheepdogs ever, guarding the flock and catching any strays. okay?
Funny.
We could at least be shepherds. You chuckled, your mood lifting in spite of the bumpy morning. It was going to be alright. You turned to the entrance for the farmer's market for one final glance, pressing it into your memories under this new light. You thought of what you picked up at the market and how you were going to enjoy it later. Some things you could only get from local suppliers like this. That was another perk about coming to the market today. Cove then sidled up next to you, an eager smile on his face. You could tell from his expression that he was up to something.
I
know this isn't part of the plan for today, but nothing that happened really was, so... You cooked up a scheme of your own? He laughed. Anyways, I sort of picked something out with you in mind. You held a hand to your chest, staring at Cove as he explained further. Since your mom's decided we should shop separately, I figured I could use the time to get you something. Just as a little surprise. I like the way you think. That's the way I was thinking. We're on the same page here. This is good. He reached into one of his bags and retrieved one of the wrapped up objects. You accepted the unexpected present, and he looked on excitedly as you tore off the paper. It was a glass bottle of cool spring water. You didn't need to taste it to know it would be nice. It was a boutique product. Interesting. It was heavy in your hands, the container and smart metal cap reaffirming the quality. Even the label, constructed from coarse paper rather than a flimsy sheet of plastic, was distinctive. You were practically bouncing in anticipation, and you smiled sweetly at your reaction. It's not a big deal, but I just thought you might like it. Well, say you're so wonderful. I'd say you weren't the only one who had that idea. His eyes began to widen. I got something for you too, when you weren't around. There's a burst of laughter, first from your mom, followed by a chorus of chuckles from the other three. You'd forgotten they were still hanging around. Unfortunately, they hadn't paid you and Cove the same courtesy, and had been listening in on your conversation. You weren't even apart for a whole day, and you both still used that as a chance to get each other little gifts. While clasped your hands together, eyes bright.
Good job.
That's so lovely. A day? It was less than a whole morning.
Right?
True, I don't even want to think about what happens when you spend real time apart. That's my boy. You stuck a hand into the bag and pulled out the box of fudge you picked for Cove earlier. You chuckled coolly, aware that the others were still watching you. When I was alone, I spotted a stall with something I thought you'd enjoy. Fudge. I mean, everyone enjoys fudge. Cove's face lit up, his grin stretching from ear to ear. The laughter that came from the others, who were fully tuned into your little show, didn't appear to reach him.
Seriously?
Cove took the box of fudge in one hand and claimed one of your hands with his other. He used the hold he had to lead you closer to him, while he lifted the hand to his mouth and peppered kisses over your knuckles. Aw, that's so cute. Aw, thank you. He's so cute. He looked at you with shining eyes. At this rate, it wouldn't just be your little group that knew that you'd been treating him. The whole parking lot was going to learn about it. Behind Cove, you could see Mom watching you both with a smile of hilarity. See, this is why he's so attached. You've spoiled him. You shouldn't make fun, Pam. It's clearly mutual. Besides, I don't hear you complaining when I'm spoiling you. Mom pinched Ma's cheek, making her laugh as she batted the hand away.
True.
Liz clapped her hands together with the air of a teacher calling for attention. Since the other adults aren't acting like grown-ups, the rest of us are going to have to pick up the slack. It's time to get back on schedule and continue with the rest of our errands. Playtime is officially over. Maul laughed Maul laughed while Mr. Holden grinned awkwardly. Mom hung her head in an exaggerated display of mock defeat. Kids are tough, and I can't even call them kids anymore. Liz tut-tutted with amusement at her mother. Cove shrugged, staying a neutral observer, but the small smile on his face revealed that he was enjoying the conclusion. You laughed, glad that everyone was getting along. That's right, we're all grown-ups now. With that, your trip to the farmer's market was closed. It was time to move on. There were too many of you for one car, so you and Cove had wound up in Mr. Holden's car on the way over. You figured it made sense to do the same for the next leg of the journey. You sat next to Cove in the back. Immediately after the click of the seatbelt in its lock announced that Cove was safely strapped in, he began to unfold the box of fudge he'd been given. You're gonna eat now? Uh-huh. He nodded eagerly, not taking his eyes from the container. He lifted the top off and longingly admired the selection inside. Minty fudge is perfect for the end of snacking. It's so refreshing. Is the green fudge lime? Yeah, key lime. That's amazing because it's fudge, but also fruity somehow. That looks like cookies and cream. That's a really cool flavor for fudge. You know, I don't think I've ever had cookies and cream fudge. But it sounds delightful. Now I want some. Red fudge. It's gotta be red velvet. You're right. Knew it. Delicious. I love red velvet. Once Cove had finished bestowing praise on what you'd pick, he promptly started sampling the selection. He was smiling, licking his lips, and having a grand old time. You could also tell from the way his nibbling was turning into munching that the box wasn't going to survive the trip to the next stop. You were right. Cove had tried to savor the treats, claiming just one more until there was only one left, and the statement was finally forced to be true. He finished the last one too. He sighed contentedly.
Thank you.
Thanks again, June. Those were really great. You're welcome. He set the picked clean box to the side, then rested his hands on his spoiled tummy. Cove wasn't going to be hungry for a while after that. From there, he sat wordlessly, gaze drifting to the window. You knew Cove well enough to spot the signs of when he was physically present but mentally elsewhere. The way he would fall quiet, staring without seeing, the long blinks, all of what he was doing right now as he looked at nothing in particular. He licked his fingers absent-mindedly, getting the last of the melted fudge off his hand. You were pleased he enjoyed it so much. You closed your eyes as you pulled up the resolve to speak. You were miles away for a second. What were you thinking about?
I
was just thinking about how nice you are. How nice I am? Yeah. Aw, look at that cute face. His face grew redder as his hands clenched around the top of his knees. You stared at him, hoping for an explanation, but Cove simply ducked his head. When he next spoke, his voice was barely more than a whisper. I'm lucky I get to be with you. Aww, so cute. I feel lucky too. He peeked at you from the corner of his eyes, still too shy to look at you directly. You smiled at him affectionately, eliciting an equally caring smile from Cove in return. You felt content, secure in your relationship with Cove. We'll enjoy the drink now. You twist off the cap and brought it to your mouth. Even before the first sip reached your lips, the scent tickled your nostrils. You took a swig. It was refreshing, the perfect way to hit the spot after a long morning trawling through the market. This is great. Thanks, Cove. He grinned at you, pleased that his pick had been well received.
You're welcome.
We spent the rest of the day completing the remaining errands all together as a group. I mean, I kind of like both of these. It's like we enjoyed brief independence, but also glad to end the day with everyone. We'll say you had enjoyed your brief independence. It might have not come about under ideal circumstances, but it had provided you with an opportunity to spend time making your own choices. You felt that you'd risen to the challenge. Yay! That was a good one. Okay, Okay, we're gonna take another quick break before we start on to the next one. I don't really need water yet, but I will restock my water supply. Excuse me. So yeah, we're gonna take another quick break. Feel free, get up, stretch your legs, get some food, get some water, do whatever you need to do, and then we'll be back in a few minutes to start on the next one. So yeah, be right back. we're back. On to the next one. Another placid summer day was drifting by. Your daydreams were chasing. Wow, your I can read. I can totally talk. Okay, your daydreams were chasing each other, none sticking around long enough to become a firm plan. But you really did mind that right now. A tapping worked its way into those dreams. Focusing more, you realized it was coming from your window. A grin popped on your face as though it had been waiting all day for this moment. Heading to your window, you could see Cove outside. His habit of climbing this way really was a true Coveism. He'd rather scale your house than wait a couple extra minutes for you to come down. I mean, I think it's pretty cute. I like it. We're gonna stand aside to give him space. Or hold out your hand to him. I feel like giving him space is better. Because then he has two hands to, like, you know, pull it himself where he needs to. As Cove started to cautiously lower himself inside, one of his feet landed on a bag you had left nearby. He stumbled a bit, but steadied himself before he could fall. Cove chuckled shakily as he got properly upright. You just shook your head. Looking a little sheepish, he brushed his hands down his pants.
Hey.
Hey to you. You think my mom should invest in some bigger windows? Cove laughed at that and took one last look at his exclusive entrance. He hummed with a teasing look on his face. It'd make my life easier, that's for sure. Cove's voice came out quietly with a strangely pleased smile on his face. Did something happen? Cove opened his mouth to answer, only to have your phone vibrating cut him off. You both turned to where it rested a little further up on your bed. It was still face down, so you couldn't tell who was calling. It's okay. Your attention shot back to Cove. He smiled at you awkwardly.
Don't worry about it.
Go check. It could be important. I'll wait. Thanks. You shuffled forward and scooped up the little noisemaker into your hand. You flipped it over and checked the caller ID. It's Miranda. Oh, you should answer it. I want to say hi too. With a nod, you accepted the call and set it to speaker. Hi, Miranda. Hi. There was something off about her tone. Cove met your gaze, and you saw the same confusion in his expression.
Have you heard from Terry?
Have you heard from Terry at all? Or did you hear about her from Cove? Huh? No, she hasn't called me, but Cove is with me right now. Hey. Oh, hi, Cove. Is that what you were going to say? He shook his head no, before realizing that it wasn't good enough answer when one person could actually see it.
No.
No, Terry hasn't called me today either. Is something wrong? At that, Miranda couldn't hold herself together any longer. She muffled sobs from the other side of the line. The muffled sobs from the other side of the line were unmistakable. Terry doesn't like me anymore, if she ever did. What? That doesn't sound right. You're probably our best friend out of all of us. Yeah, why do you think that? She sniffled, and there was a pause as you could hear her shift the phone to her other hand. Terry was here the other night watching movies with me. We were up super late. She realized her parents probably went to bed, so they couldn't pick her up. My mom and dad were definitely asleep then. Dad works early. I tried telling her it was okay to just spend the night, and she could text her parents what happened, but Terry really didn't want to. You glanced at Cove. He looked equally unsure as you about where the story was going. It didn't sound like a friendship-ending situation. I suggested things to make it easier if she was nervous, like she could sleep by herself in my room while I stayed somewhere else. Yeah? And I said we didn't have to sleep at all. We could have kept watching movies until one of our parents woke up. I wouldn't have minded. I know not everyone could do sleepovers, but Terry wouldn't even tell me what was really wrong or what I could do to help. I thought we could tell each other anything. I guess I was wrong. Did she stay in the end?
No.
No, we got too loud in the kitchen and my dad woke up. He offered to drive her home when he heard what was wrong. She texted me apologizing for my dad having to do that when he needed rest, but that was it. She isn't talking to me anymore. You could hear every bit of the tears and heartbreak in Miranda's voice. This continued to be a shock for your neighbor, but Cove recovered and spoke gently. I'm really sorry.
I mean,
There's no way Terry wanted to make you feel this bad, or that she's just done with her friendship because of this. Miranda's sniffling continued. You hope you have plenty of tissue, Sandy. We'll say it'll be okay. It had to be. You couldn't imagine any alternative. Miranda's voice sounded a little bit more collected after finishing her story. But you knew that the crying was far from being done. I thought she'd have reached out to one of you by now. Maybe she's not talking to anyone. Yeah. Sorry for bothering you and Cove about this. Hey, we're here for you.
right.
You can tell us, you can tell us things. Thank you. Her shaking voice finally conveyed a little optimism, or at least relief that she wasn't dealing with it entirely on her own.
Is that all right?
If you do hear from her or anything, could you let me know if she's alright? We can. Thanks. Let's talk later, okay? Bye. Bye. That didn't really seem like an especially productive point to end the call. Though you also weren't sure where to go from there. Looking at Cove, his face seemed as lost as yours. With no alternative, you hung up and put your phone back on your bed. Okay, one moment, I need to go grab something. So, do I really need to get a BRB screen on this screen. Anyways, I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Cove crossed his arms, a frown creasing his face. He began to pace the length of your room, clearly trying to put the pieces together in his head in a way that made sense. A while ago you felt pretty confident about this working out well. Because, I don't know, it kind of feels like just some miscommunication. / there wasn't enough communication, so it's like once they talk it out, everything will be fine. It was no fun hearing Miranda so sad, and you could definitely empathize, but right now there was no reason to get too worked up. It was only a matter of time until Terry reached out to someone, and you were sure hearing her side of things would clear it up. The empty state of your head before learning this was not helping you now. You couldn't put two thoughts together, and flopping back in your bed, you stared into space. We should probably try calling Terry. Cove's voice managed to drag you back to some grounding. He'd stopped pacing, but you still saw a perturbed look on his face. Is there really something we should get involved with right now? Cole's mouth pressed into a hard line. At the moment, it seemed like the two of you were on very different wavelengths as to how to deal with this.
Come on.
I want to talk to Terry. She's my friend too. Fine, let's call her then. Cove looked away and pulled his phone out. You went over and stood at his side as he dialed. Cove let it ring and ring and ring and ring. Terry didn't answer. There wasn't even an option to leave a voice message. Your shoulders slumped, and Cove looked even more troubled, if that was possible. He turned to you as if for some lifeline. Could you try calling? I'm gonna send a text just like, hey, I was trying to reach you, call me, or something. Yeah. You took up your phone once more. Unfortunately, after another set of interminable rings, the line went dead. No answer, no voicemail. Hanging up, you saw Cove visibly deflate. He rubbed his arms, his eyes distant, openly struggling with the whole affair. I don't like this at all. They're fighting, we barely know anything, and we're supposed to just wait and see? Despite it only being a minute since he texted Terry, Cove checked his phone again. He was desperate for progress, for something, and you frowned as you watched him. I don't really like any of these options. It's like, yes, he should try to relax, but sometimes telling someone to relax is like the worst thing to do. We'll just stay silent. There was nothing you could think to say. All you could do now was hope that Terry was alright. It was up to her to reach back out now. Glancing at your own phone in vain, you considered sending a text message too, if that would even help. This was making you feel all twisted up. You could see the same sort of discomfort on Cove's face. There was something consoling in that, at least. Words drifted from his mouth like a feeble breeze. It'll be fine. It's gonna be okay. Yeah. You could hear it in both your voices how much you wanted to give and receive reassurance. You tried to believe the sentiments, weak as they were.
Well...
Should we... What do we even say if we do hear from one of them? His pacing resumed as he attempted to answer his own question. We should probably tell them to talk to each other instead of only us, maybe? He slowly came to another halt, like a gear winding down. I'm gonna say we should find out Terry's side of the story. That's really the first thing we need to figure out. Nothing could be done until you knew what she thought of this. That much was certain. Cave nodded slightly in agreement. For several minutes, you both remained there in silence, drowning in your own thoughts. Eventually, Cove turned around. I'm gonna text Terry that we already know what's going on. Maybe she'll have an easier time talking to us because she won't have to pretend or explain. Yeah, it seems like a good idea. Maybe? I mean, depending on how it's worded, but yeah, we'll go with it. Yeah, maybe that's the only way to get her attention. With the two of you on the same page, he steeled his gaze to prepare for taking this next step. Cove's fingers worked furiously, yet carefully. He was giving his full attention to his words. You sidled up next to him and looked, trying to watch what he was writing. Cove rapidly typed out, "Hey, Jun and I really want to talk to you. Miranda told us what happened. Please reply back." And sent. It was done. We'll just have to see what happens now. Great, can we do something else now? You're being dramatic? No, not that. Say it'll definitely be alright. Things are okay. You gave your best smile in the hopes of cheering him up. He gave a weak smile of his own in return. I hope so. I really do. A small noise escaped his lips. All the frustration of the situation crumpled away from his face, and he spoke softly. Thanks, Jun. I'm glad it's not just me with all this happening. Cove took one last look at his phone, then put it away. His effort at a smile was meager, but earnest.
It's okay.
We can just forget about it for a while. Terry will talk to us when she wants to. Yeah, that sounds good to me. And you meant it, exhaling some of your own concerns away. The last thing you wanted was to fight with Cove. A silence stretched on in what felt like hours, but it likely wasn't that long before there was a knock at your bedroom door and Mom peeked in. Just wanted to check in on you. Oh, Cove, when did you get here? When she saw you were When she saw you were there, she opened the door all the way. Ma was standing there as well. She slipped past her wife to come inside your space. What's going on? We're okay. It's just Miranda called earlier. She and Terry are fighting, but none of us know what's going on with Terry. Your parents exchanged a meaningful look, though its meaning was lost on you.
I'm so sorry.
That's too bad. I'm sorry there's trouble with your friends, sweetie. Is there anything we can do to help? Out of the corner of your eye, you saw Cove rub his arm awkwardly, unable to add anything. No, we're just waiting to see if Terry calls, or texts, or if Miranda does. Well, we can at least help you take your mind off things while you're waiting.
Yeah.
Another great idea, Lonnie. We can get the whole gang together for some quality time. Mom gave you a soft smile and added, "This will be good, especially since it might help make up for what happened at the farmer's market." Yes, it'll be wonderful. I'll go see what Liz is up to right now. Excited, she fluttered a few steps away and then stopped. She pivoted on her heels and raised a single finger, flashing a big smile at Cove.
It's no trouble.
And of course, Cliff will be welcome too. Knowing your family was always there for you, that couldn't be underestimated. In fact, it meant everything to you that your moms cared so much. I really appreciate this. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. That's nice of you.
You're welcome.
You're both very welcome. Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Not so, kiddos. Leave things to us. Just relax and we'll call you when it's all together. You nodded and your moms dispersed for now, springing into action for their impromptu get-together. You flopped down on your bed, feeling like you could sink into it and disappear. Cove, meanwhile, took a spot on a chair off to the side. You sighed at the same time, and Cove's mouth pulled into a bent smile at that. He gave his phone another quick check, and his eyebrows furrowed. Still nothing? Yup. This is crap, huh? Yup. Cove chewed the inside of his cheek as if to mimic the stress that was clearly eating away at him. Cove, what's wrong? What's really wrong? One disagreement doesn't make you act like this. That got a pointed pause in his movement. Cove was carefully trying to put his thoughts together. He spoke in a fragile voice. When people you care about, when they're unhappy with each other, there's nothing you can do. At least when you're in a fight yourself, you have some responsibility, some control over it. I wish
So,
it didn't have to happen, but that isn't possible, so oh well, I guess. His attempt at giving a nonchalant shrug after that was pitiable. Well, yeah, it makes me feel horrible too. In your lap, your hands momentarily curled into fists. This kind of powerlessness, it wore you down. You looked at Cove and were reassured by his understanding nod. There was a question you had to ask. Is it because of what happened with your parents? Cove ran a hand through his hair, a strained smile spreading across his lips. For him, this pain struck close to his heart. Just as quickly as it had come, his smile was gone, lost amidst his faraway gaze. Yeah, you got it. It's like my parents. Despite knowing him for so many years, Cove had never spoken of the years before he moved to Sunset Bird, before his parents separated in any detail. He whispered his thoughts distantly, almost unconcerned with whether you could hear them or not.
that's...
They used to fight all the time. I think they got along when I was a baby. I mean, they had to have wanted to be with each other at some point. But when I was old enough to remember anything, it was already bad. There was always something wrong, and I could never help. I just wanted them to be happy. You tried to imagine your moms breaking up, and the very idea scared you. But Cove had endured that for real. I'm sorry.
June, don't worry about it.
Despite that revelation, Cove gazed reassuringly at you. It's not like that anymore. Things are so different now. I don't even really think about it. Again, this sorrow reasserted itself. When he continued, you could barely hear him. Though, I guess it's pretty obvious I haven't forgotten either. We're gonna go hug him. You crossed the room, picking up a little bit of speed, and Cove's eyes widened. He shot out of the chair and stood, waiting for you with a nonplussed look. When you collided into him, wrapped your arms around his middle, and knocked the air out of his lungs, all mystery was gone. Cove squeaked.
Oh,
He returned the gesture longingly. Exhaling, you leaned down and pressed your cheek into the warmth of his neck. The tension stuck in your chest, released like a river flowing into the ocean that was Cove. The firmness of his hug told you Cove didn't plan on letting go anytime soon. You both needed the comfort and closeness for just a little bit longer. When you finally did, he kept hold of your hand. The two of you took a seat again, this time side by side on your bed.
well,
Today was a lot, huh? Yeah, it was. I leaned against him. Resting the side of your head onto his shoulder, you glanced at his face. Cove watched you affectionately. In that gentle gaze, you finally felt like everything was going to be okay. No matter what happens, we can make it work. His mouth pulled into a bent smile at that. You chuckled, resting your head comfortably back on his shoulder.
me too.
I think so too. He couldn't sit still anymore. Cove leaned in, delicately pressing his lips to your forehead, and he raised one free hand to lightly touch your jaw. The breath got caught in your throat. When you remembered to breathe, blood rushed to your face, turning your skin a deep red. You tried not to think about how hot you were feeling because, after everything that happened today, you were just grateful for the moment. Aww. For a while you stayed like that. A comfortable quiet fell between you, and the sun fell within it. The warm and calm ended when Cove gasped sharply. You spun, half expecting to find him nursing an injury, but instead you found him staring straight ahead. What?
Oh my
I
god.
think my phone just vibrated. Check it out. Great. He patted his pockets, fumbling in his panic, and yanked the phone out. The force of the action nearly catapulted the device out of his grip entirely, but he caught it just in time. His eyes honed in on the screen. It's Terry, thank God. She says she's sorry. He looked back at you, eyes wide as his nerves started to fray once more. What should I say? Ask her what's going on. Okay. He flashed you a shaky smile as he began to type. You suspected that he'd had a similar thought himself, but wanted the reassurance of a second opinion. Cove's phone buzzed nearly as soon as the message was sent. Ah, it's Terry again. She's talking to us. She asked about what Miranda said, but wait. You leaned in, watching the conversation unfold on Cove's screen.
Right.
She's gonna actually call. Cove held his breath as you waited. Though he was good with people, he'd never been at ease managing conflict. His phone rang out. Cove jammed the answer button. He switched the phone into speaker mode, allowing you to participate in the conversation. But despite his immediate reaction, his voice lacked the same resolve when he spoke. Hey. It was tentative, a white flag fluttering in the wind. Jun's here too. Hi, we've been worried about you.
Hey.
Terry's voice was barely recognizable without her usual quick patter and energy.
Are you okay?
I don't know. Probably not. Cove tensed, his free hand coiling into an anxious fist. Can you talk to us about what happened? Don't you know already? Miranda explained some of it, but it doesn't make sense to us. You heard Terry sigh over the phone as she unburdened herself. Pretty much, I was at Randy's house. We decided to watch some movies she super liked that I'd never seen before. Turns out there's a lot of those. We watched one, then another, and another. We were having so much fun. Each time one finished, she had another one to share with me. I didn't really think about the time. I only wanted to say yes to Randy and watch her movies. She spoke wistfully, but her words were full of affection. It was Randy, you know. I wasn't thinking about my schedule or what time it was. I get it. Then I finally saw the time. And oh no, it was too late. I already knew I couldn't stay. She took a deep breath, her voice becoming softer when she resumed talking. I was so stressed out. I just couldn't deal with it. Miranda wanted to help. She kept coming up with ways to make it better, trying to figure out why I was so upset and stuff. I was trying to answer her questions, and there were so many, but I couldn't really answer all of them. I didn't even know why some of her ideas didn't work with me. It made my head ache. I still had the first problem, and Randy there trying to help, blasting all these questions and suggestions at me faster than I could even think. She gulped audibly, sniffing. I got frustrated and told her to just leave me alone, but then she wanted to talk about why I wanted that, and we started having a fight in the kitchen. It woke Randy's dad up. We told him about how I wanted to go home, but my parents couldn't get me. So Mr. Eckert offered to do it. That's nice of him. Terry groaned. I know. I accepted because I definitely couldn't stay then. Not after throwing a racket and turning it into a big deal. But I feel awful. And embarrassed. Why did I yell at Randy and hurt her feelings? And I made her dad lose sleep by waking him up and having to drive me home. What do you say after that? I have no idea. I don't know where to start, and I don't want to make it worse by saying the wrong thing and fighting again. So, I'm not talking. Terry, Randy isn't mad that you didn't want to stay or that you fought. She just wants to feel like you can talk to her. I mean, you can say whatever you want. She'll listen. Not talking to her at all is pretty much the only wrong way to go about it. Terry lamented mournfully on the other end of the line, But he had a point. Unless she faced Miranda again, there would be no resolution. You looked at Cove, hunched over the phone, staring pensively into it, and searching for a solution. This couldn't be solved with the other key party missing, but what if you brought them in? Your phone was still free. Which would probably suggest it. Just bringing her in without saying anything could not be helpful. What if we called Miranda? That way you could talk to her, but wouldn't have to do it alone. Cove brightened up, the concerned furrow in his brow, which had taken root when Miranda first called ease.
Well,
That could work. Terry, are you up for it? She made a noise that wasn't a word, but nonetheless conveyed her hesitation and worry. But she brought it to a close with a decisive exhalation. As if pushing all negative thoughts from her body. Alright, I'll do it. Cove nodded. Now that you'd received approval from everyone, you pulled out your phone and called Miranda. You set to speaker and waited for her to pick up. Luckily, she did.
Hi.
Hi, June. Her voice was still distant, as if her thoughts were elsewhere, but it was loud enough for your needs. Hi, you're on speaker. Terry's on speaker too, on Cove's phone. Oh. She paused while she digested this information. You watched the phone screen, hoping that she wouldn't hang up as a result.
Really?
Oh, really? Yep, it's really me. Can you hear my voice all the way from your house to theirs and then mine? I can. You and Cove exchanged looks, waiting for the wall between them to break and wondering who would be the one to do it. As the quiet dragged on, you caught Cove chewing his cheek. He must have weighed up the same question as you, whether to encourage the conversation along or leave Miranda and Terry to resolve it themselves. The answer came in the form of one sniff, followed by another, from Cove's phone.
Sorry.
Sorry, Randy, I hope you still like me. What? You're the one acting as if you didn't like me. Her tone was defensive, no doubt a result of her wounds from last night still being raw.
What?
No way, everyone likes Randy. You're wonderful. Your eyes met Cove's. His phone was tilted towards you, capturing the call indirectly. You moved your phone closer to his, hoping that the signal was strong enough to convey every nuance of the tone. Cove did likewise, bringing his cell right next to yours, even bumping against it as he shifted his grip. I didn't know what to say. That's the only reason I wouldn't talk to you. If I had known the answer, I'd have told you right away. Miranda murmured on the other end of the line. You didn't want to stay. Anything I tried to do bothered you, and you could have told me you didn't know. Yeah, I think I was angry at myself. I did a dumb thing and I didn't want help with it. I wanted to be mad and just deal with it myself. It made me keep doing dumb things. Oh. When she spoke again, her voice was quiet, as tender and vulnerable as the words.
I'm sorry.
Staying up late watching stuff was all my fault. I had to find a way to fix it. That's what I thought anyways, but I should have given you space. I'm sorry for being so pushy and sensitive. Hardly. Miranda Eckert having a flaw? I've never heard such a crazy thing. Miranda let out a ghost of a giggle. Cove cleared his throat. Maybe you should call each other now? Sorry.
Sure.
Can't do. Thanks for giving me the kick in the butt to do this already. Randy Mandy, I'm gonna call you right now. Bye, June and Cove. She hung up after squeezing in a quick bye, though not giving your Cove room to respond in kind. Miranda laughed, the noise tinkling gently like wind chimes in a summer breeze.
You're really nice.
Thank you for listening and helping. I'm gonna hang up now so I can answer Terry's call. Bye. Bye, and good luck. Talk to you soon. Miranda hung up, still chuckling softly as your call ended. The room felt emptier without the other voices in it. Ko expelled a sigh that crashed through the newly fallen silence. He dropped his arms to his sides, letting his head hang down like a puppet at rest. Thank God. I'm so relieved it's okay. Cove scratched at his face, his expression cloudy. I think I need to find better ways for dealing with conflict, because that was awful. We could all do better at that, or I think I did okay given the circumstances. What do I think you did okay given the circumstances? Cove meekly smiled as he rubbed at his eyes, weariness creeping over him, and mumbled his next words. We can talk about it another day. Conflict resolution methods?
Huh?
Huh? Oh, no, forget it. Your eyebrows rose and then a light bulb went off in your head. Before Miranda called, didn't you say there was something you wanted to say? Cove's original visit had been thrown so off kilter that it was a struggle to wind your memories back to when he first turned up. Now you did, though. You remember that he had been perky when he'd arrived this afternoon. Was it good news? Cove brushed his hands against his now folded arms shyly. Well, yeah, maybe. I'm not exactly sure if it counts as news or even good. It was just... is what it is. I'm happy about it, though. You were curious, but you didn't want to push Cove if you didn't want to speak about it. You don't have to say anything, but if it makes you feel good, I think it is good news. Cove chuckled awkwardly, a hand creeping up to ruffle the hair on the back of his head. It's fine. If you want to hear, I can tell you. He shifted on his feet, as if a different posture might give him the support he needed for the conversation. I didn't want to make it a big deal, but I kind of... well, not kind of. I just know what my sexuality is now. Well, okay, this is just jumping conversations. I see why he thought of not doing it now. Okay. A real subject change, huh? Yeah, just a little bit. But that's okay, continue. He chuckled. True, it wasn't expected, but you were excited that Cove had come to understand himself more. And glad he wanted to share that with you. Yeah, exactly. That's great. Tell me more? Cove drew a breath, straightening up. Oh, yay! He's demisexual. Let's go. So, you know, most of the time, I don't really have those kind of feelings, physical wants and stuff. It's only in some situations when I'm already really emotionally and romantically connected to someone that I start to ever think about anything sexual, and it's only with them. I hadn't heard the term until pretty recently, and it just made a lot of sense once I knew what it meant. I had a word to fit how I felt. Oh, so good! Oh, I know that feeling so well. It's such a great feeling. Yay, Cove! Ah, so good!
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm panromantic because I've never had a preference for a specific gender or anything, so yeah. Yay! Oh, way to go, Cove! It's so good! That makes sense. Cove looked down at the floor, being so open and direct about a matter that personal, which you were sure he'd spent a long time trying to figure out, seemed to be kind of weird for him. Despite that, there was a small, proud smile on his face, and when he looked up again, his gaze was steadfast. I mean, I'm kind of curious about that answer, but it might be a little pushy. We're just gonna go with you felt proud of your boyfriend too. All this talk of co-sexuality made you reflect about your own. I'm gonna say we haven't wavered. I vaguely remember what answers I put in. Cove had known for years now. It was heartwarming that he had reached a point where he felt similarly capable of discussing his own. He felt even closer. Aww. You could tell that Cove felt like it had been an emotionally draining day that had now come to a close, everything wrapped up neatly with a bow on top. You'd had some good talks with your friends and each other. A lot had been brought out into the light, and you'd come out of it not only knowing each other better, but yourself too. But there was still something that Cove didn't know, something that had gnawed at you many times over the years. You never told Cove about how you first met his dad. You'd always held it back from him, unsure how he would take the revelation. His dad seemed to have done the same, as Cove didn't seem to have heard it from Mr. Holden either. I don't think it matters. Yeah. It wasn't as though Mr. Holden had kept you on his payroll to be friends with his son. It was a strange action, probably out of desperation, taken years ago. At this point, you thought you might simply keep that entire event in the past where it belonged. You felt some relief at deciding it wasn't your responsibility to keep caring.
Hey!
We should probably head downstairs soon, if your moms are still wanting everyone to get together. Yeah, that's right. With a renewed spring in your step, you led the way out of your room. You got downstairs to find the others already assembled and waiting.
Hi.
Hey, good to see you both.
Hey!
Here we were, trying to corral everyone into a group, but the two of you were already upstairs this whole time. Hey Dad, we had some stuff to talk about. Yeah. But we made it, so what's the plan? How about cards? There was a murmur of interest from the others. Sure, that's fine. Most of the group was eager to play, but Mr. Holden was demurring.
Nah.
I think I'll sit this one out. Where's the fun in that? Join in. Yes, and I know there's a lot of people, but we can make it work. Mr. Holden shrunk into himself, embarrassed by their attention. Dad, you love playing cards. We do it at our house all the time. Yeah, remember that time I played over there? Those were serious games. We made bets with real money and everything. Dad? Mr. Holden broke under the combined force of everyone's attention. Cove and June, you're adults now. You deserve to know the truth. I used to throw the card game so you could win. I put up a good fight, but I always made sure to lose a lot more rounds than I won. He toyed with the end of his ponytail, clearly distressed by revealing this bit of info. He did have a history of bad surprises, so that may have been why. I know people want to be taken seriously, and fake wins don't mean as much, but I couldn't help myself. It's so much better when everyone else got the chance to be victorious. Kieran knew and went along with it. Cove laughed in disbelief that this was the thing his dad was stressed out about hiding, after the other stunts he'd pulled over the years. So what? Lots of parents do that. I hadn't guessed it, sure, though looking back it makes sense. That's right. What's the big deal, Cliff? You can finally take the kid gloves off and give them a run for their money. Mr. Holden smiled coyly, his gaze lowering. I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Why?
He waved his hands expansively, the movements fluid and vague. It's just, actually, I'm something of a card shark. I used to make lots of cash off games. Casual players don't have a shot unless it's a game of pure luck. Cove's jaw hung open, his wide eyes fixed on his father. Really? There was a touch of amazement, even admiration nestled among the shock. The other members of the Wordweaver family exchanged looks, ranging from Liz's disbelief to Mom's intrigue, with Ma somewhere in the middle between the two. You can't simply make a claim like that and expect us to go along with it. Let's see you back it up, Shark Man. I like that his nickname's now Shark Man. Mr. Holden gave her a crooked smile, his demureness quickly replaced with the confidence of someone very skilled or very misguided. You sure about that? Definitely. We've got to see the so-called non-casual player in action. Well, I might be able. Though, who knows, maybe I've gotten rusty. His coyness continued to rile the gang up, and he was getting a kick out of it now.
Please?
Come on now, please.
Alright.
Alright, I can dust off the old tricks. Cove beamed at his father while Mom clapped Mr. Holden on the back. Liz started off to get a deck of cards while the rest of you settled in for the game. Hands were dealt. Mr. Holden wasted no time proving his words true, wiping the floor with all of you. He played several rounds, even switching games, but none of you were a match for him. That was how the alliance came to be forged. The rest of you joined forces against Mr. Holden only, just to try increasing the odds of beating him. With your combined efforts, you pulled out a few victories, yet it was still a challenge. He was clearly a professional. If these were his skills now, rusty with disuse, you couldn't even imagine what a deadly opponent he had been in the past. Despite that, you still had fun. Working cooperatively actually fostered a sense of camaraderie with the others. Mr. Holden didn't appear fazed by the strategy. You actually wondered whether the increased challenge made it more interesting for him. You spent the rest of the afternoon together with your family and the Holdens, having fun. It was an interesting evening for sure, with many discoveries for everyone. It was freeing and yet simultaneously felt more tied together than you had been before. Oh, that was so good. Especially that part at the end with Cove. Oh my goodness. Ah, oh, so good. Okay. Oh, do I want to end there? What time is it? It's 12:30. Okay, I think we are gonna end there. That was a nice place to end. Oh, that moment with Cove was so good. I mean, that feeling of like finding that word that describes who you are. Oh, so good. Anyways, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and end stream there. So let me hop over here. But yeah, that was so good. But yeah, thank you all for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I love this game so much. It is so good. But yeah, so that's all for me. I will be back. What is today? Today's Saturday, so I'll be back on Wednesday. Yeah, and I'll get my schedule for next week posted today, probably. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, great weekend, and a great however long until I see you again. Until next time, bye bye.